I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Welcome back, Brother Dave, Super Dave, and Jim White. What's happening, guys?
Morning, everybody.
Morning, team. Hi, everybody.
Happy podcast day.
I think I have an old episode here because I don't see Welcome Back, Jim.
Yeah, I just added that in. Listen, you guys know me by now. Like, we improvise a little bit. Sometimes I delete things by accident. Sometimes I put things in that shouldn't be there. But, Jim, you are here.
Thank you.
I see you, and thank you for being here.
I'm glad to be seen.
Man, the energy in this room.
You're going to be heard. Well, you guys got to look at me. So.
Glad everybody's feeling super positive this morning. I really want to have a good time today. Let's kick it off with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I get too far into it, Jim Sr. has been, I'm going to say, discussing with me for the last 2 years about the way I sound on the podcast. And he pretty much told me I need a new microphone. He made some suggestions. We didn't get that one, but we got a different one. So let me know how I sound today, Senior.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm pulling for you, Jam.
Thanks. He's a tough customer.
Amen.
Oh, boy.
Consider that a shout out.
It's funny because I have one here for him.
Oh, perfect.
So we'll make up for it.
See, we're already synced up.
Yep.
I love it.
We're going.
Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for patience and the making of good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comfort of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
As a reminder, anything you hear on today's podcast is not the opinion of JFW's. It's just our expressed opinion. Episode 103, a.k.a. the Casey Guthrie episode, had 838 downloads. Nice job, Casey.
Nice job, Casey.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Yep. Yeah, so nice job, everybody else, too. And we are at 52.9 thousand total downloads, and we picked up one follower, which puts us at 219 followers.
Oh, we need one more, right? For 220, huh?
We need one more for 220, but I mean...
220, 221, whatever it takes.
I want 300.
Okay.
I mean,
Me too.
Yeah. So let's not shoot for 220.
So next week, let's just go for 250 and then 300 the week after or something, right?
Awesome.
And 1,000 downloads a week.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Man.
Don't stop. Keep shooting for more. Improvement every week. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to shoot for.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Is that up to us or is that up to the listeners?
It's up to the listeners, I guess. But no, actually, it's up to us to create a
Right.
quality product.
Content, right?
Yeah.
Content.
Yeah, honestly, I think to really get to the next level, more effort needs to be put into the podcast by me.
I was thinking it was just up to my dad jokes.
Well, they help.
That'll really reel it in.
Man, I'm telling you, like, he brought 3 last week. He's got a book out today. He's got, like, he doesn't even have the little markers. He's got full-blown sticky notepads for
checking it
for
off.
markers on the book.
I
Is
was.
that a children's book? It's like 3 inches by 3 inches.
Damn, Dave, that hurt.
What's the crayons for?
It's got pictures to color too.
Nice. I was talking to a driver the other week, and he told me his favorite part of the podcast is the dad jokes. I'm like, great.
That's so funny. I had a boxing joke for you guys, but I forgot the punchline.
Ooh, man, that's good. Well, I'll kick.
Why are you pointing at me?
That was my joke, Dave.
Oh,
I actually was going to use that, and I decided not to, but I wanted to throw it out there just to see, like, the way it fit in.
It
You know what I
fit.
mean?
Yeah,
it was
it fit
perfect,
great.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I do have a dad joke, though, so you guys go ahead and go.
I'll kick it off. What do deers call hunters?
Deers.
Dead shots.
No. Dofos.
Dofos. Oh, man.
And then what do you call what do you call someone addicted to waterfowl hunting?
Duckness. I don't know.
Bird crazy, bird flu, bird, I don't know what.
A quackhead.
Quackhead. That's
Quackhead.
funny. Well, obviously, you're sticking with the hunting jokes, and that's
Yes.
what mine is.
I wonder why.
It's hunting season, right? We've
It
got
is.
full-blown hunting season going on. So do you know why the deer went to the dentist?
No.
To have a look at his buck teeth.
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna give you one more hunting joke. I'm gonna give you one more hunting joke. We'll have to censor this one a little bit, but guy goes out, kills a deer, brings the deer home, and him and his wife want to surprise their kids, but they don't want to tell them what kind of meat it is, but they agree to give them one hint. So the kids cut into the meat, they take a bite, and the one kid's not so sure yet, so he doesn't eat. The sister ate. And they're like, all right, Dad, give us a hint. He's like, well, it's something that Mom calls me occasionally. So the boy tells the girl, no, don't eat it. It's a beep hole. I screwed it up a little bit, but yeah.
No,
I was going with something else, not a beep hole. That's funny.
Oh man.
That's funny.
Hey, so since you're talking about cooking and being in the kitchen and feeding the kids and stuff, what kind of tree is found in the kitchen?
I was going to say a pantry, but that doesn't.
Oh, you got it, pantry.
bam.
Pantry.
Good job.
Yeah.
very good.
I was going to give the answer, but that's not it.
And then, on a serious note, though, do you know how to prevent water from getting inside your house?
Waterproofing.
Stop paying your water bill.
Oh, nice.
Good.
We got soup.
All right. Well, what do you call a nose with no body?
A nobody. A nose body.
Nosy body nose.
Nobody knows.
Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, hey, I forgot. So Nick Spencer, Kurt's son, he sent us a dad joke last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so good job, Nick. He said, how many seconds are in a year? Do you need a calculator?
I would need a calculator.
No, I don't. 12.
That's right. One for each month.
January 2nd, February 2nd,
That's it.
March 2nd. Bam. How old's Nick?
Oh, what did he turn?
He just had a birthday.
Yeah,
That's how I can relate to him. He's 10.
you guys are leveled up. Good stuff. All right, new employees. We got Norman Curtis and Maurice Lessard started today. Welcome to the fleet, men.
Yeah, welcome, Norman and Maurice.
Welcome aboard.
Celebrations, anniversaries. We had Mikey Peterson hit 17 years this past Monday. Happy anniversary, Mikey.
Way to go,
Happy
Mikey.
anniversary, Mikey.
Yeah. Love his anniversary shorts.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah,
That kind of sounds weird, but
he got
Love his
17 year shorts.
I told him it seems like yesterday. And he was like, maybe for you.
Wow. Man, I'm looking forward to next week. I've never really spent a whole lot of time with Mikey outside of work, and we're going hunting. So
Yeah, you guys will have such a
gonna-
good time.
it's gonna be
Especially
good.
the other guys in the group, Jam.
That's the thing is everybody else canceled. It's just me and Mikey.
Oh, really? Jimmy and Larry and oh,
Rod
wow.
Rod had a mechanic quit, so he's got to stay back. I don't know why Jimmy and Larry aren't going, but it's just Mikey and I.
Oh, you guys will have such a good time.
Yeah, so
I'm
we
blessed.
got two bull tags and 2 cow tags. So
Wow. You guys got time to clean up.
no competition. They just got it. The animals got to show up. So really, it's up to God. I want to see if he's got an animal or 2 picked out for me this year.
Nice.
I'm
Perfect,
excited.
yeah.
All right, Andrew Gutierrez hits 1 year tomorrow. Happy anniversary, Andrew.
Awesome. Happy
anniversary,
anniversary, Andrew.
Yeah, it took a while, but he's loosened up a little bit. It's been nice getting to know Andrew a little bit. He's
Yeah.
a good guy. Birthdays, we got Robert Shaw had a birthday this past Sunday, and Luis Ibarra had a birthday yesterday. Happy birthday,
Happy
guys.
birthday. Yep.
And then family birthday celebrations. Liam Portillo hits 3 this week.
Wow, gosh.
Is that mini Sergio?
Yeah.
Yeah, that went
Nice.
by fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
happy
seen
birthday.
pictures of this kid? I mean, he is
Mini Sergio.
He looks like
I've just heard
Sergio.
you guys
Yeah.
mention it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's yep.
crazy. Emilio Contreras, Amber's son, is turning 9 this week. And then Damian Salas, Walter Salas' son, hits 11 this week.
Nice. Happy
Yep.
birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Happy birthday, happy anniversaries, all the good stuff. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Shout outs. Greg Wise. I want to give Greg Wise for having an A+ attitude. I had a nice discussion with Greg last night, and man, he gets it. He is the JFW culture. He understands. I was just really impressed with what he had to say. So nice job, Greg.
That's so cool. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Lauren Nahara, Paco's wife, she wants to give a shout out. She heard that fish had dyed his hair pink, and she wants to give a shout out for his fearlessness and rocking the pink hair, and he is in our prayers.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You
wish
are
him
in
the
our
best.
prayers, Mike.
Yep.
JR wants to give Veronica a shout out for fessing up her mess up in a fuel aisle. Thanks for.
Did she overfill the deaf?
No, I think she had a fuel spill.
She did. She tripped over the hose, I heard.
Yeah.
Pulled it out of the tank.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
JR also wants to give a shout out to the new slip seat drivers. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have such a great PTO program.
Man, sorry, Jim. Sorry. I was just like, that is so truthful. I thought you were done. Yeah, that's the fact. We wouldn't have that program without the new guys and slip seats. And
Yep.
it's such a big part of the team.
Yep. So remember, we were all that new driver at one time. So be courteous and respectful for them. Right?
Yep.
If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be able to go on vacation.
Help them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if they're filling in on the truck, they may not have all the stuff down, but they're there and they're filling a spot.
Be
It's awesome.
appreciative.
Yeah.
Leave your truck the way you want to find it when you get back. Don't come back and be upset that somebody didn't detail it for you and didn't fuel it. And
Yeah, they may not have
goes-
all the training yet. Know our culture.
It goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We want the new guys to take care of the truck, but we also want people that are leaving on vacation to give them something in good, decent shape. If they get in your truck and they don't want to touch the steering wheel, don't expect it to be detailed when it gets back.
And everybody remembered you were, like JR said, a new guy
Yeah.
at one point. Everybody forgets pretty quickly. It's tough to be a new guy, and there's a lot of challenges, not only learning the job, but also, feeling part of the team and getting to know all the people. I mean, it's tough. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people here.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm glad we don't
Lot of
call them
lives.
the FNGs.
Yeah.
what's that stand
We
for?
don't? Oh, we don't do that?
Funny new guys. And I know you did say it, Jam, about it going both ways. Keeping your truck clean for somebody, a new guy to get in it, shows that representation of our culture. That is a big point. That all got just kind of like sunk in just now, Jam, after you
Yeah, I
said
mean,
it.
I remember we had a slip seat driver, and he came to me and he was like, "Wow, he's like, this is upsetting to me. Like, it's disrespectful the condition of some of these trucks." So, Linda wants to give a shout out to the dispatch team for covering while she was on vacation. She said it's very nice to leave and not worry about things not getting done. Oz and Tracy are amazing. So that's true. Those guys are amazing. Tracy's definitely been finding his stride a little bit, and definitely an asset to the team. And Oz has always been just knocking it out of the park. So
Yeah, so well put. It's such the whole attitude and the fun you guys have, and listening to everybody downstairs. It's a good team. It's
Oh, you hear us?
yeah. Sometimes you can't not hear you.
Oh man, I'm a little rough on those guys. They like it though. At least they tell me they do. So, Scooby wants to give a shout out to the safety team for jumping in and helping me with all my projects. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Scooby's kind of filled that spot. I know he's on the safety team and handles a lot of other stuff with the guys, but doing the maintenance around here and just what it takes at Yard 23 and here, and we try to do the upkeep, and it's like owning a home, for all of us, and we all know what it's like to be a homeowner when you're trying to cut the grass and fix the sink that's leaking and the toilet that's running, and repaint the walls because they've gotten dirty or whatever. It's a lot. So thanks, Scoob, and then thanks to the guys jumping in and helping him.
What's so great about Scooby doing all that stuff around here, there's some Scooby-isms that I've learned to help me take care of my house. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's got a depth of knowledge when it comes to that stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep, especially that grass. Holy moly.
He speaks grass, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. Gilly Rodriguez, he wants to give a shout out. Says, good morning, Jam. Quick shout out text. I want to give a huge shout out to the Hefes, the big bosses, the brothers, for allowing us the luxury of being able to bring our kids and family to work with us for ride-alongs. My son is always so excited the few days he gets to come trucking, and always so joyful when we get back to the yard and he gets to see all his pals, especially Jam, JR, and Scoob. He can't wait to get out and say hi and hang with you all. The memories we get to create are priceless. I always get asked about it by other company drivers when they see him, and after having conversations with them, I realize it is truly a privilege to be allowed to do this, as most all companies don't due to insurance reasons. Good.
Yeah, no, I was like, he's spot on. I mean, the risk we take, I guess this is the spot for the disclaimer, but this is a family business. We grew up riding in the loader with Dad. We grew up riding in the truck with Dad. Times were different then, but I got to throw it out there. If you ever do have your son or daughter or family member with you, you have to be ultra vigilant on your safety. I mean, we just cannot, something would happen. I don't even know how I would feel, but to deny the chance for your kids or your family members to understand what you do and be with you during the day when you spend so many hours here, that's not right either. And I think, I don't know.
So
he's right when he talks about the memories. Me and Dave have so many memories of being with Dad.
Oh, and scars.
So Gilly continues, and for that I am beyond grateful. Thanks to the marvelous JFW family for being the greatest company to be a part of. If there is anything I can do to improve myself, I am open to all advice and guidance. High road up, JFW powder mob on top. Gilly 0046 out, come out.
Gilly does a great job. It's kind of funny. I've been running into him on my ride in the morning lately.
Yeah.
He's coming down the Highway 36 because he's going to Central from CMCA.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm like, hey, what's
Give
up?
him a shout out on the CB.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff.
In the right lane, just easing on down the road.
Yeah.
So they take 287 down to 36 and over to Central?
Yeah, they're heavy. They're loading heavy. So they don't get on the highway.
Why not?
I know. At 4:30 in the morning, nobody's going to catch them.
Why not?
Can you retract that statement, Jam? What time was on the laptop? We need to just pull that completely out.
And isn't that I-36?
No, it's not. It's a state highway.
That is a state highway
the Boulder turn.
that ends at I-25.
Yeah.
I'm sure they get off.
Hey,
I hope so,
I'm
yeah.
too heavy. I can't get on the highway.
I'm hoping they get off on Pecos.
Why? It's 4:30 in the
AKA
morning.
Yeah.
Pecos.
DOT's not out there. Come
AKA
on.
Pecos.
Just kidding.
Brother Dave wants to give a shout out. Well, I'll let you do your own shout out here, Brother Dave, and then I got two more
For who?
for the everyday heroes.
Well, before that, I want to give a shout out to Mitch. John Moore called in. He had a blowout or a flat. I don't know whether it was a blowout, flat tire blowout on his trailer on Monday night, and Mitch had to go out there and change it up near Arcosa. And I guess, I don't know whether there was a problem with the gun or a problem with the air compressor or what went on, but anyway, we couldn't get the wheel off of the truck or off the trailer to change the flat. And Mitch was able to just jack it up. He took the tire off of the wheel while it was on the trailer and put another tire back on and inflated it. And anyway, he got off the island. That's what we call it, is when you solve problems, you get off the island if you're stranded on it. And solved some problems and got John up and going. So John wanted to provide a shout out for that. And
That's awesome.
it is awesome. Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate it.
Yep. I'm hoping, though, that we can give Mitch a double shout out, Dave.
Because he come back and got with the shop on what's wrong with either the air compressor or the gun or whatever's going on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
That he was a superhero and goes, what the hell? I couldn't change a tire.
Right?
We got to fix
Right?
this.
Why do we have a service truck that we can't get a wheel off of a truck with?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I thought you were going to tell me he just grabbed the breaker bar and busted those lug nuts
That's what
off.
I thought John was going to say.
Yeah, I could see you just grabbing a hold of it and just, soaping it and pulling the tire off.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, man.
We're going to get to another shout out for him, but yeah, man, I mean, I seen him snap some bolts the other day. It's just like broken.
Oh, funny. Yeah, he's a character. So
Strong boy. Strong
yeah.
man.
Yes. So back to the everyday heroes. We talk about the silent warriors here and the everyday heroes, and they're the grinders that just show up. They're just here every day. You don't hear anything about them. There are no complaints. There's never any issues. You know what I mean? They are the everyday unsung heroes that they're just grinding it out. And I could probably go on and on and on, and I'm sure if I mention one person.
Don't do it.
No, I know. That's what I'm getting at, Jim. That's what I'm going to say is if I mention one person, I'd wind up mentioning 50 and I will have forgotten 30. Right. You know what I mean? And it's not fair, right? So you kind of have to do a blanket statement. But yeah, I mean, we have so many unsung heroes that, I mean, God, when you see them, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you and I haven't even heard your name in 6 months.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, and I mean, seriously, we kind of joke around here to a degree, which is kind of sad on our part, but if we don't know your name, you must be doing a stellar job, right? I mean, it's sad to say that, but it is somewhat true, so yeah.
I mean, in theory, that's true. I just know that you guys do have your finger on the pulse a little bit more than that. Like, if you didn't know their name yet, you know their name now.
Yeah.
Even for doing a good job. So
Absolutely. Yeah, Dave, and we'll talk about it a little later here. I know Jam left me a spot for it, but the CMCA convention this last weekend that I was able to go to, that came up in several conversations about
the unsung heroes.
Yes,
right?
About how they and how do you replace those people, because you don't. They're doing such a core of the work that they don't know it.
Right.
I mean, one guy was like, when I talked to Danny about their alignment guy that runs their alignment rack, and they fixed my Holly's Mercedes when Mercedes couldn't even fix it, and it's been fantastic. And Danny was like, yeah, the guy's getting old. It's hard for him to get up and down on the rack and do all that kind of stuff. And, I was able to tell him, thank you for the job he did on your car and stuff. But where's the guy I'm replacing that with? Because I don't realize the job he's doing until I have to replace him or get him some help. And
yeah,
that's the good thing here we do.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? That's what this is about.
That's what this is about. Yep.
We do get it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the birthdays, the anniversaries, and I'm not trying to toot our horn, but these are the things we found important, along with, the safety topics we talk about is how valuable all the people are. I mean, isn't it fun to joke about, Mitch pulling that tire off, and I'm just thinking amazing teammates, last week, I know we mentioned the wash bay, and again, I heard that several times up at the CMCA, and those are, I mean, I have a list of the people that attended that, And, you know, it's all, oh, I seen your shiny red trucks. I seen your shiny red trucks.
Isn't that a
you
song?
know?
Say, did they hear the song?
Do we have that?
Nope.
You know, and that's due to the wash bay, and that's
That was
due
a
to
plug.
due to the mechanics. That's due to the drivers, you know, going around some of the big puddles and paying attention how they keep their truck. And
Yeah.
it is such a big effort for all of us. It's fantastic.
Nice. Casey wants to give a shout out, says, good morning, Jam. I'd like to give a shout out to Coleman for letting the construction crew that was working outside of Plant 2 last week know that I was coming in with an oversight load. It made getting into Plant 2 easier, and the construction crew had time to move all the barricades so I could get into Plant 2. Thanks again, Coleman. So, great job. Good communication.
Good teamwork.
I read that.
Yeah.
And I bet the construction crew, they probably didn't like having to move the barricades, but I bet they thought it was a lot easier than, oh, here comes a truck, let's rush and move these.
Yeah.
And just the heads up, probably everybody was, it's a way to control the situation and make it come out the best.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep, no doubt.
Veronica says, good morning, Jam. I would like to give yourself, Mikey, and Mitch a big shout out for coming out last Wednesday and helping out with helping out with the accident. It's good to know how much support we have from all of everyone here at JFW. No matter the time and the place, it's good to know that we work for such an amazing group of people. And also, thank you for all the coworkers that reached out to see how I was doing. Thank you all. So, and we're about to get into Veronica's accident, but anybody else have any shout outs?
Well, Jam, I got quite a list. I just want to back up right quick for the birthdays and stuff. So it's my middle daughter's birthday on Thursday. So Allie, she's going to be 28.
Hey,
So
happy birthday,
to Allie.
Allie.
I know she listens.
That's awesome.
Happy birthday again, Allie.
Yep. And
We
then-
dropped her at the airport this morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, headed to New York. So spend her birthday in New York.
I mean,
with
she
with
helped.
friends.
She helped launch this podcast.
Yeah. I mean,
She
one of
sup-
Yeah, the microphones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
a couple of
supplied
these mics,
some of
right?
the first equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Allie. Happy
She-
birthday.
Is that OG right there, right? Is that how you look at that? And then a quick shout out to Dad, because I know I said we were going to give him a shout out. He gave me and Dave a couple of gifts last week. He was just thinking about us. It's a really cool pocket watch with a nice saying on the back about being sons. And, it's been, you guys all know it's been last few months have been a little trying for us all as a family. And it was nice for Dad to reach out to us
was.
Thoughtful.
and do that. So thanks, Pops. I appreciate that. And then a little bit outside our circle, I'm saying I got to attend the Colorado Motor Carriers convention, and that was my first one. And I just ran into so many great people at the convention that I was able to tell about our business. They asked questions about the business. They were involved in our business. One of them is Jeff Cummings. I think we pretty much all know Duffy Crane. He's the owner of Duffy Crane. So super nice guy, helped me out in several situations. Another great guy was Scott Hutchings from Waste Management. We had some good talks, political talks and different stuff like that. I know if you ever listen, Scott, you'll be okay with this. Dave's like shaking his head because you admitted
Let's give
to-
him an award.
Yeah, he's a Democrat, and he said he was a conservative Democrat, I believe is how he put it.
Want to see your voting record?
So that's like the opposite of a rhino? Like Democrat in it? A dino?
Dino. Yep. So good to learn about different stuff. And then Steve and Danny. Steve is Danny's dad. Steve owns Diversified. I just mentioned them with alignments and stuff like that.
Diversified truck and body
Yeah.
repair.
Yep. Good.
Collision
Good
repair.
guys. And I know Danny said he was going to start to listen because he just every place he goes, he goes, "Do you listen to JFW? Do you listen to JFW's podcast?"
Really?
That was from Giuliano over at Mac, Dave.
That's
And then
Seriously?
and
That's
then he
funny.
ran into somebody else, and Danny's like, "I guess I got to listen." And I'm like, "Well,
Yeah, those guys are pretty, they're interactive with our social media, which I like. You'll see Diversified.
They are
putting
very
out a
Yes.
active on
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And then just want to shout out to Bill Persichiti. He invited me golfing when we were up there, and I literally sucked. And Bill gave me some pointers, and I got through the day. So thanks, Bill.
Had a partner that carried you.
Yeah, he carried me. Yeah, it was something else. And then just
That's the reason I don't golf. They can't carry me.
it was tough, Dave. It was rough. Absolutely. And then one just close to home. I think I mentioned her a couple weeks ago, but Anne, here at JFW. You do an amazing job. I know you've just been killing it, helping everybody, help dispatch with Toro. You've helped while Joanne was out. You've helped while Amber was out. You've helped me while I'm out.
Silent warrior.
Tackled Ultratel.
Yeah.
With the new phone systems.
Yeah.
You're right, Dave. It's just a rock star, unsung.
Yeah,
you know,
silent warrior.
Yeah,
And a good, kind person, too.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. Like I saw an email from Ann. She was frustrated. Even her frustrated email is better than like my kind email.
Right? Yeah, she asked me on that one. Is that all right? And I'm like, well, that's pretty spot on. I like it.
Turn it up a little bit.
Yeah. If you want to drop some F-bombs, go for it. Live on the wild side. But yeah, so just a shout out, and I assume everybody kind of knows, but I just, if I'm going to do this shout out, and then along with Mikey's anniversary, if everybody doesn't know, they are brother and sister. Yeah. I don't know if some people know that. So that is a great family right there.
Yeah.
I mean, their parents and them, they did an amazing job raising Ann and Mikey. Good people. Good people. So
Old school.
Yeah. Just good stuff.
They both went to Bella's school. Bella goes to Sunset Ridge, and they were, they were so excited to hear that. They're like, Sunset Ridge.
Isn't it funny how you hang on to that stuff from your childhood? If you haven't relocated or moved or
what are they like? What's their mascot? What are they?
Wolf.
Sunset Ridge Wolves.
Yeah, and Bella's was all about wolves.
Oh,
before.
I bet.
We call her a wolf pup. She got a hoodie that says wolf pup. It doesn't fit her anymore, but and they got like wolf prints on the sidewalk, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So that is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know I took a lot there, but I think I covered everybody.
Yeah,
I think
you did awesome, Jim.
Yeah. So thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
I feel incompetent.
I mean,
Jam's just like holding his hands up, looking at me like, wow.
if the shoe fits, whatever, knock it down.
Thanks for chiming in, SD.
I'm speechless.
all right.
That's an understatement. Super Dave. Oh man.
So everybody's probably heard by now. I mean, if you didn't, I don't know where you work, but we had a pretty bad accident last Wednesday, a week ago today. Just to kind of go through it and explain to what happened. But got a call from Veronica shortly after the podcast, and she was, I'm just going to say, frantic, like hysterical. And she's like, oh my God, Jam, somebody just rear-ended me and it's bad. He hit me really hard. And she didn't even want to go back and look because she thought the guy would have been dead.
Wow.
Right. So basically, she was coming down from Fry, just about right after Highway 40 before C470, there was an accident with two big trucks. It was a Swift trailer pulled by an independent and another big truck got together. The Swift trailer went in the median, almost broke through the median, and then the other truck ended up on the shoulder. So traffic was slowing down for that accident.
Because there was two big trucks on each side of the highway. Left
and
side,
they may
right
not
side.
even been all the way on the other side. They might have still been on the road trying to get to where they need to go.
True, yeah.
But there was clearly an accident. Traffic was slowing down. And Veronica did an amazing job breaking her truck down. Just like, oh, there's an accident up there.
Yeah.
You could see she's getting ready to call
on
the
the mic,
accident, tell people about it. And then
and had multiple truck links in front of her.
she had
You know what I mean? It
so
wasn't like
much
a
room.
panic stop by any means.
Nothing. And then you're just watching the video and boom, she gets hit. JR registered it, or he looked on Samsara. 3.2 G's
Wow.
was the difference from when.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you, but
interrupt
I
this
guess
conversation.
I'm so flabbergasted by that because I don't know what in correlation, but that's 40 feet before it gets to her. However, whatever the exact measurement is, a 35-foot trailer and the tractor and the seat.
Yeah.
Before that impact moves up the truck and even gets to her, and we're loaded, and there's so many, to me, shock absorbers to take that away, and you feel that because I watched it later, Jim, after you guys sent it to me, and like you said, her jerking in the cab, and luckily she's all right, but that is just it's just crazy. The film, hopefully we can send it out because Because I didn't even watch the other one. I was just watching her inside
The
view.
inside camera.
Yeah.
There's nothing really to see on the outside.
No, Dave.
Other
but
than
you're
what
just,
a great job she was doing going,
Slowing down.
there's,
Yeah, you
there's
look in
traffic
front,
ahead.
yeah.
She's just a rock star approaching that scene. Yeah. Such a big gap, giving everybody the information to slow down behind her and all of that.
And that was coming right down off of one of the steeper parts
Yes.
of the hill
Yes.
coming into town.
Yep.
She had it under control, wasn't,
Yes.
pushing it, wasn't, and
Which
we
why-
kind of discussed it. That is where a lot of people let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
And start rolling down the hill.
Yeah.
And she
she was
not.
doing it right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
Which these are all the good reasons why we talk about why do you come down that whole hill just using your engine brake?
Yep.
So you have your brakes available in case of an emergency. And I'm not going to say this was an emergency, but she definitely had plenty of
been.
brakes to use. Yeah, it could have been.
It should have not
Could have been.
brakes. It would have been.
Yeah.
An emergency.
Oh,
Yeah. Damn right.
Would have been
Yeah.
a different scene we were, headed to.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess that's not true. I really did look at the other camera, the outside view, because like you guys are all bragging about her falling distance and stuff too, and just what an idiot the other guy was on top of it is everybody was slowing.
Yep.
She picked up the situation, but even the cars next to her in the fast lane, they're not passing her very fast. Everybody's realizing the accident.
Yeah.
And this guy, that 3 solid lanes, well, actually 4, because right in that area you have the off ramps on 470 and all that kind of stuff, that you can't realize traffic's going to stop. Here's this truck in front of you, and you hit him. What a.
But
I have other words, but.
Right. Yeah. We'll get into the meat of that
Yeah.
shortly. I mean, that's going to be the next discussion. I just want to drill the point home of this is the exact situation of the what if.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talk about the what if every podcast. Here's the what if. She did it all right coming down to the hill. I just had John Moore talk to me about he was coming down that 45 mile an hour zone right where the runaway truck ramp is eastbound, had a fuel tanker come out and go around him, and John's like, I was just chilling down through there 40, 45 miles an hour doing my deal, and the tanker couldn't wait, goes out and around him, gets back in front of him, and John goes, out of nowhere, here come a state patrolman.
Good.
Whipped over between him and pulled the tanker over, and John was like, all right.
Right.
Finally got
Right.
some justice.
Right.
And that's for everybody here if you're not doing it right. The good news is we know everyone's doing it right coming down through there, because guess what? Our cameras are automated. We have geofences set up
the
in those
GPS,
areas.
Yeah, the geofence.
Yeah, with the speeds in them, and we know if you're not doing it right. And we're going to educate you really fast after the first time we find it.
Yeah.
And we're
This-
asking you to do that because you're safe and because of that incident right there with the state
Exactly.
patrol. And
What if?
Yeah. And I want to we also got to hear the colonel of the state patrol give a speech, I think Saturday morning, and he talked about the what if. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's the guy,
Yes.
because that's what the state patrol deals with all the time is the what if.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a spot he picked out was the canyon. Glenwood. Thank you, Jim. Glenwood Canyon is that is the most dangerous spot, or they have the most accidents through there. And what they find is, though, that somebody like maybe a fuel hauler or our guys going to Utah, we're through there, we're familiar with that, and then they have somebody out of state try to pass us.
Yes.
Same situation as John Moore. And they just don't realize what that canyon is.
Yeah.
And then he said on top
It's
of that,
45 to 50 for a reason.
and that's exactly.
Right,
and they said then nobody realizes the canyon closes. That's a spot it closes.
Yeah.
It's not like and I know we worked through the accident where Veronica is. It didn't close.
Oh, it closed.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
closed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was when I went past there, like 6:30 or 7. The
It was
accidents
reopened.
were still open, but it was back open. The canyon closes. Period for 48 hours or better because that's what he said. We can't take that chance with the creek there in that area like that. So,
Gotcha.
it's not good.
To explain the severity of this accident, the kid that was driving the car had to be cut out of the car.
Extracted.
Extracted, yeah. He was trapped in the car. Luckily, he wasn't bleeding really bad. Like if he cut an artery, he would have been dead. You know what I mean? If
Well,
he
Jim,
lost
I
blood,
know you were close, so he probably would have lived.
Yeah. Well, not by the time I got out there. You cut your femoral artery, you got 3 minutes. In 90 seconds, you lost half your blood. So anyway, he was in the car. He ended up breaking his leg. He did break a leg. And, he had to wait for paramedics to get there and the fire department to cut him out with the jaws of life. When you look at the vehicle, I mean, it's just mangled. Terrible.
Oh, yeah, it's destroyed.
Yeah, it's just terrible. So, that was another accident driving to, you don't know if the guy's alive or dead, or it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
This isn't a game. And when we talk about following distance and paying attention, because he did try to miss the truck, you could see at the very last minute, he tried to miss it and he went driver's, he hit our rear passenger with his driver's side.
Yeah.
So it made it almost worse, right?
Made it
Jim?
almost worse.
Yeah, which there's witnesses that says he was weaving in and out of
Just gonna
traffic.
say that he was speeding. He was driving like an idiot.
Could have been distracted the whole 9 yards, so.
Had his dog in the car.
The dog, luckily the dog's okay. The dog bit innocent bystander and a paramedic trying to help the guy.
That dog had to be all jacked up with the airbags blowing off and the
Dog looked fine.
being thrown around. Well, I mean, could have a concussion, could have,
Could be.
internal bleeding, or, I mean, we don't know. I mean, I'm sure it was fine, Jam, but I mean, there's those things you don't know, right? So, yeah. I mean, one of the things I want to back up and just keep discussing is that what if, and I guess I want to ask, why do we always talk about the what if? We talk about it because we've had it happen. Yeah. We've, I don't want to say we've lived it because that just makes it sound like, oh, we've been there, done that. We know everything. We don't. We haven't seen everything. We never will see everything. But damn, what we have seen, what we have learned, we know about, and we preach about it, and we preach about it, and we preach about it. And there's a reason for why we talk about the what if. There's a reason for why we ask to make sure and create the avoidable accident. Veronica was doing everything so right. She got thrown in a position where it was just the luck of the draw, right? Here's the other part of the what if. What if we weren't there and that guy would have hit a car full of kids, or a family in it, or 2 cars with 2 families in it? Someone could have possibly died.
There would have been,
That's the what if.
Or permanently disfigured or handicap or.
Absolutely. I mean, we can sit here and say, there's a possibility Veronica saved someone's life.
I was going to say that earlier, and I was waiting for you to bring that up about saving somebody else's life. That truck not hitting somebody else.
Yes.
And
But I guess I just want to keep drilling home that what if, and us driving home that avoidable accident situation. Veronica, she created all of this space. She created all of this room for energy to be absorbed. You know what I mean? People that were going past her, if they couldn't stop and it was a panic, they could have jumped in front of her. She still would have saved them. You know what I mean? And I guess there's the what if. There's the driving responsibly. There's the avoidance of an accident. There's the what you should do, not crowd and take space, and not be that aggressive driver, but everything she did was just right. And she happened to be the lucky bystander that got hit. And again, I think, to me, in my eyes, it's a thank goodness we may have saved a life, or Veronica has.
Yeah, the impact was so hard it sheared the bolts off the frame of the trailer. It knocked the axle out.
Both axles. When I looked at the trailer in the wash bay, both the front and the back axle bolts were just wasted.
The thing is, though, she was loaded. So there's just that natural weight sitting on top of those axles that she was able to shear the bolts by hitting the axles with, I know that 25 tons. I know that's not right on the axle, but still you're holding that axle down, and they were able to shear them. So
with just 36,000 pounds.
Minimum. Right. There you go. There you go, Dave. Yeah.
And that's maybe a 6,000 pound pickup truck?
Yeah.
There's a Toyota Tundra.
Yeah. You just
at best 6,000 pounds, right?
Of course, the kid driving on a suspended license. What was his license suspended for? Driving with no insurance. So we're not 100% sure at this time, but that vehicle and that driver probably are uninsured. So guess who's got to flip the bill?
Yeah.
JFW.
Yeah.
FW.
You know, and Super Dave brought that.
The good people. Sorry, Dave. The
Yeah.
good people are we
Responsible.
we'll take the responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't mean we're responsible for the accident. I mean we're responsible as in the responsible party.
Yeah, we'll take
Right?
care. We'll take care of Veronica if she
Yeah.
needs anything.
Yeah.
We have, Pinnacle or Workman's Comp, and we have the regular insurance. We have, all this staff that's making sure she's okay. We got Mike and Jam and everybody else that went to the accident. We have all these responsible
All
people.
this downtime.
All that downtime. Everything.
Yeah.
We're going to end up taking care of every bit of that because we're responsible. We're the good people. We live in the what if, Dave.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we have this staff.
And I would almost bet you I will bet you a cheeseburger, Jim.
Well, let's see about
Even
that.
though I don't like betting on
let me
these
hear
because I
your
always
bet
lose
first.
to you, but I'm willing to bet the kid doesn't have health insurance either.
I'm not going to take that bet.
And guess what? Who do y'all think is going to pay those medical bills?
Yep.
Taxpayers.
You all
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Every single driver here that's a responsible driver and you pay your taxes,
Yep.
Yeah. You're
thanks for
him.
paying his bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Speaking of the team, so Mikey and Mitch show up a little bit later, and the highway was temporarily shut down, right? I mean,
For hours. Jim.
yeah, between the big truck accident and our accident, I mean, the highway, there's no traffic.
Yeah.
Well, the trooper's like, all right, we're going to call you a big tow wrecker. I'm like, well, hold on a second. We got the team coming, and, they could work some magic, right? So right there on the side of the road, they had to change the flat tire. They couldn't get the rim off. They did it right like we were talking about, right? So, and then Mikey and Mitch, they pulled the axle back underneath the trailer, got a couple bolts in it to be able to bring it home. Like amazing, amazing work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny, Jam, because the state patrol or, when we've been on these scenes before, we've been rear-ended and, well, like Paco's deal, he wasn't rear-ended. He saved that nurse's life that fell asleep,
Yep.
almost head-on him. And,
Yep.
he swerved and
Yep.
she bounced off the trailer tires but knocked both axles out. They always want to just call a tow truck.
Right.
Those still can't be towed.
No,
Right.
They could have
Can't
10
move 'em.
freaking tow trucks
Yeah,
there.
how could they tow
can't
that,
be towed.
right?
Yeah, until
They
you
can't
get
put
that.
a couple of little dolly wheels under it like a car.
Right, Dave? Yeah,
Yeah.
they just don't. They're clueless.
Yeah.
They're clueless. They don't know our industry, and that's where
They just want to get the highway back open.
absolutely
Get your truck
Call
out
a
of
tow
here.
truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless that tow truck can pick it up from the rear and drive backwards
Right.
while we're driving forward.
Right.
It ain't going nowhere.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Crazy experience. But luckily Veronica's okay. And even though that kid's a less than stellar citizen, we're glad he wasn't seriously injured too, because that could have been a fatality.
Yeah.
And it
I
is.
hope he
it is-
learned something.
Yeah, Dave.
You know what? I hope
know.
it was a
I
life
agree.
lesson for that kid.
Yeah, that's the tough thing.
23 years old. He's got a lot to learn.
Yeah, that's the thing too, Jim. It's very tough to find goodwill for that driver.
Right.
It just
Boy, that's PC. That was very politically correct, Jim, the way you stated that, because
especially because this wasn't an accident where he screwed up.
he chose this.
He chose this because he's been driving with no insurance. His license is suspended.
Yeah.
He chose that.
Yeah.
And man, to find goodwill, it's.
I mean,
that's-
God forbid if I had to drive and I knew I was driving with no insurance, do you think I'd be driving like that?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Right.
Jam just became unplugged.
Well, I know. Well, yeah. So
A lot of things
We're under
were happening
control.
just now.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Settle down.
I think we
The
just
show
avoided
must
an
go on.
accident.
We
Right.
got this.
It's on like dead air.
break a leg. I mean, yeah. Well, if you guys don't have anything else on the accident, I want to move on to the next part of the accident, which is a little discouraging, right? Being honest about your injuries and what it affects when you're not. So Veronica's had a few people encouraging her to milk this and sue and not be a really good person. Like, hey, get a lawyer. You could get paid. Veronica's shoulder's a little hurt from the seatbelt. She went to Workman's Comp. They're taking care of it. We're going to make sure she's okay. But to have the attitude of you need to sue somebody to get paid, it just really is discouraging to me that there are people like that out there. Because when we're a cause of an accident that's minor, like true story, we hit a guy between 0 and 2 miles an hour. We rear-ended somebody at a stoplight. We were stopped. They were stopped. Driver's foot came off the brake. I must say
We
rear-ended.
eased forward.
We basically pushed this car as gently as you could the driver's claiming a back injury and that we bent the frame of his car.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Wait a
Trying to
minute,
work
you're
on
not
that.
going to find goodwill,
But it is correct.
We experience that.
Working the system and taking advantage of others.
Yep. We experience that. So then to hear somebody encouraging one of our own to do the same, you're part of the problem of the world.
Yeah, because the thing is when they make a mistake, when those people that encourage Veronica to do that, and they make a mistake, they're going to pray they don't get sued.
Right.
It's going to be just the opposite.
Oh, and if they did, it would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're suing me.
Exactly. Exactly. It would be the total opposite. But see, that's thinking of the what if.
Right.
You know, that's going through there. And sure, when we, you know, if it's our fault, you know, the accident we had, hey, somebody deserves a new car maybe, or a replacement vehicle. You need your injuries fixed.
Yes.
Step up and do that. And
Yes.
and we do that. Again, that's the correct thing to
It's
do.
doing the right thing.
You know, making them whole,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
but 50 grand because you broke my mirror off the side of my car.
Right.
Come on. That's just, it's easier to settle and go on.
Yeah.
You know, and then in this case, I got to mention
Who are you going to sue?
yeah, this kid that's got nothing, that's driving, you know, with a license suspended. I bet he's a millionaire. He's secretly a millionaire.
Right.
And you're just going to make, I don't know how much.
I guess what that leads me to, though, is the whole fact of if you have something or you have something of value that you've worked your entire life for, it can be in jeopardy at any time that you could lose it. And where it's frustrating is our lawmakers have created rules and regulations that doesn't make the system fair. And what I mean by that is we had a homeless guy attack one of our mechanics and our service truck 2 years ago, right down here at the 7-Eleven off 56th and Hawley or Monaco. Yeah, Hawley. And he did like $3,800 damage to the service truck. I mean, he wailed on it with this, I don't forget whether he had a pipe or what, damn near got a hold of the mechanic. The mechanic's leg got scraped trying to jump in the truck, you know, and get away from him and get the door closed. And the guy chasing him, you know, just the weight of him getting stopped so fast pushed the door closed on the mechanic's leg. He kind of scraped up and hurt his leg a little bit. And then he broke the windshield in the truck, beat on the door, damaged it, beat on the hood, damaged it. And when the police got there, they didn't do a damn thing because the guy was homeless and destitute. So
I don't want to look that way.
I had it out with the cop the next day because I was like, this is ridiculous. And he goes, sir, calm down. There's nothing you can do about it. And I'm like, no, there is. I just need to teach my kid when he does something like that. He just needs to tell everyone he's homeless and destitute. Don't give him your driver's license. Don't be a responsible human being. Right. Then you can just get away with it. And that's what sucks about our society today. But our leaders have given people rules to protect that and to curse the people who have worked hard to gain things in their lives and have value and have homes that are at risk because they could be sued for everything they own. Sucks.
Yep. It's true. So,
all right, pick it up.
Be honest. Yep.
Yeah, be honest.
Yep.
Be a good human being.
Yes. Well, this is yours, Brother Dave.
Where are we at?
Well, let's try to be positive, but let's try to be positive about truck and trailer lights and pre-trip inspections.
Oh, boy.
Let's talk about the elections coming up in a little over a week.
Right in Rich Trujillo.
Right? Yeah, so funny. Yeah, so, I mean, we have, you know, numerous vehicles leave just this yard without all their lights on. And it's dumbfounding to me that we did a pre-trip and we know our lights work, but we're driving out with our lights off. And this is the sarcasm of it, right? Like, oh, maybe it's are the lights there inspection. Because clearly we didn't do are the lights working inspection because you're driving out with them off. How could you have done any inspection?
Well, they were working before I turned them off.
They were working yesterday.
Right.
And so just please pay attention. You know, I mean, what we ask isn't difficult. That's part of the being a good person. That sounds stupid, but
let me give you guys a JFW life hack. Every morning, Jim and Dave sit out in their pickup truck talking about their day, watching trucks leave. A good place to make sure you have your things in order is
Would be at least out the driveway.
is leaving in the morning.
Yep.
Okay. don't set yourself up for a tongue lashing.
And Jam, and I love that. I do. I love that, man. A tongue lashing, right? But what are you thinking if you drive out in the dark with your lights off? What are you thinking?
Dark and shit.
How did you do your pre-trip? What have you looked at? Where is your head?
Right.
What, you know what I mean?
You're asking the wrong question, Dave, because they aren't thinking, they are unaware. They have
No
not done their
situation
walk
awareness.
around. They have not checked those lights. They had no idea.
Yeah. Good point, Dave. That's
What else?
Well, then that's what this podcast for is to bring awareness.
Yes.
Instead of a bunch of bitching and us complaining about it, and I know that's what it sounds like, is we're trying to bring awareness to a problem that how do you look? It's for the what if. It's all that stuff. You know, I just listened to you, Dave, talk about our leaders, you know, they did this, they created these laws, they've done all this other stuff. You know who the hell voted for the leaders?
We did.
People did. And you know who's not voting is not everybody to make a change. It has nothing to do with our leaders. We put them in office. Somebody put them in office.
Well,
as a country, we suck. Has nothing to do with our leaders.
think we just
Get
lost
involved.
positivity.
If you can't even turn on your lights, how can you vote for somebody decent? You know, that's what it reflects to. If you can't turn on your lights and leave the yard, how are you going to leave a safe following distance? How are you going to know not to speed? How are you going to know to make your trailer level? How are you going to know to sweep off your tailgate? How are you going to know not to have your hoses rubbed? How are you going to know not to have your periodic sticker in the right place? How do you know you're not going to have all your registration in your folder in your truck? How do we trust that you do the 10 things I just named because you can't turn on your lights? But does that sound like bitching?
Well, it's the what if.
So what if?
What if I didn't do my
And
job?
we're
today?
and we decided on this podcast to try to keep it more positive when we led into this. And we're just trying to be better. That's what it boils down to. Trying to have a responsibility on how you're leading your life.
Whether it sounds like bitching or a pat on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, we've been working on some prices and some contracts and some renewals for with Brannon. And we were doing the math on our tonnage hauled and mileage hauled and all this other stuff. And when we broke down the tonnage and did some stuff, we're on pace for 96,000 loads this year. You know, not every drop of it went to Brannon, but 99.9 of it went to Brannon, right? You guys, that's what we do all day long. But 96,000 loads. We should be giving you guys all $1 million that because you just hauled 96,000 loads, right? Great, right, Jam? But we just have this little piece that we got to keep working on to make us better.
Because that little piece is the crucial.
It's going to cost you everything.
It's the crucial piece.
Yep.
That guy that's driving out with his lights on that didn't do a pre-trip inspection and probably didn't do a post-trip inspection and probably didn't bump his tires is probably going to be the guy that's going to be in the accident or gal.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that could be the at-fault accident.
Yeah.
Because they're like that 23-year-old kid. They're not thinking what if. They're not thinking what if, right?
Yeah.
You know, what if I make it to I-25 and Thornton Parkway and I still have my porch lights on and I change lanes and I blind the car next to me and they crash? What if?
Well, there's a lawsuit.
Right?
There's a lawsuit.
Absolutely, because
And
50% of the billboards in town along every interstate has a picture of, have you been in an accident with a big truck?
Yep. Because what was your word, Super Dave? They're not aware.
Unaware.
Yep, because they didn't take the time to look in the first place.
Yep.
So maybe this
Just
should be
to give
called,
everybody a heads up, too, people that have been driving older trucks or other companies' trucks, in these Kenworths, there's 2 switches that turn on all your clearance lights. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, in the Pete's, our Pete's, there's only 1.
Yep.
So
And awesome point, Super Dave. Awesome point. But you should never leave this yard
in the dark.
right,
without knowing
If your lights
there's
work.
another switch.
that's right.
Because
And
you'd come up to the safety people that are all standing out there or another driver.
even the guy standing next to you,
and go,
'cause
not all my
He'll
lights
know.
are on.
What's up with that?
Right? And what do you do?
Oh, yeah. By the way,
Exactly.
and that's communication, and that's being a teammate, and
Yeah.
working together, and
Doing a good job.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our silent warriors and our unsung everyday heroes don't have that problem.
Yeah, because somehow we moved 96,000 loads, right?
Safely.
And that is amazing. Thank you, everybody. Yes. And I'm sorry, I don't know how you turn this where you just don't seem like you're picking on it. I mean, I'm trying to think as we're all talking, and I know I just went on that tangent. Is what does a new guy think? Because I hope this is the first episode he's listening to. How much we care, about that person, how much we care about everybody here to do it. So we're covering the what if, because we don't know what the what if is.
Well, Jim, if they listen to the podcast and they're paying attention, they realize we prayed for it.
Yeah.
And I've brought this up before, but we prayed for their patience. We prayed for their vigilance. We prayed that they make good, safe decisions.
We prayed for other people.
Absolutely.
The public.
I mean, I would hope they think we care, that we're not just complaining or worried about the what if, right?
Well, we did add one truck to the fleet a few weeks ago. We will get 100,000 loads next year.
There's a goal, Dave. Track
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah, break 100,000 loads.
We're going to improve.
Speaking of awareness, this is the time of the year we need to start paying attention to our start times. Okay, we had a split start time today. Some trucks or drivers are starting at 5, some at 6. Start times are there for a reason, and this is something we battled last year. If you got a 6 a.m. start time, don't be here at 5. We ask you to be here at 6 for a reason. Normally it's because either the pit or the plant, they're not going to be ready for your material being there so early.
Yep. That could be next week could be the start of it. Supposed to get 1 to 3 Saturday.
Yep. I was going to mention that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Here we go. First snow, guys.
Yeah, it clears out Sunday and back to work. And the thing is, it's not like we're going to run out of work. The work's sitting there. We just can't be safe possibly if it's snowing, and it might be delayed a little bit. But the work doesn't go away. It still needs to be done.
Yep.
So there's nothing. We're not out of work.
And JR and Scooby put it out on the 2-way yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. But remember your heavier coats. Remember your winter gear. It's going to be cold. It's just the beginning. It's not really cold yet. It's just chilly.
Yeah, even with the podcast.
It's a good idea to get that out and get it ready.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting you there, Dave. Even with the podcast, and we've talked about it. We talked about it last weekend, I believe the week before. We know it's going to snow and rain Friday and Saturday. How many gates do you think we're going to have frozen shut Monday morning?
Yep.
13.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
Because if you don't think your truck's being driven or you're not working Saturday, and I know you said the rain Friday, but you should prepare Friday night for Monday morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because isn't it supposed to be like 21 degrees?
On Monday, Dave?
Or yeah.
I didn't.
Or is that Tuesday? Monday
I didn't look
Tuesday?
at the
I'm not
temperature.
sure.
Yeah.
Usually when it clears out, we all know we're from
Yeah.
Colorado. That's when it's the coldest, right?
Yeah, right at dawn, right when we're leaving the yard.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
It's the coldest time in the morning, man. The temperature will always drop a couple degrees right when the sun's coming up.
I'm being sarcastic, Dave. I know that.
Yep. Good stuff.
Do you know why?
Yes. The temperature inversion.
I don't know why. I'm asking for real.
Due to the temperature.
Due to the temperature.
Due to the temperature dropping.
Due to the big ball of fire that hasn't come up yet.
And that just a hair off the subject here, because I think due to the temperature, that thing is for some reason it made me think about that was the theme at the CMCA, and I know we all talk about it, but was mentioned so many times that if you have anything that you do anything, it got delivered on a truck.
Oh yeah.
And
so
I'm just
true, Jim.
and I'm just thinking, whether we're hauling gravel and how important that means, whether you're doing, salt for the roads or for a bridge deck or for a handicapped sidewalk or for a family to have their brand new home with a great driveway,
My new cast iron frying pan from Amazon.
Exactly. And that, all of that stuff, it got delivered in a truck, and how important you guys are. And that's the thing you have to remember is you're so important. So you do an important job. So make everything important.
Here's one that's really ironic that trucks deliver, and it always just kind of freaks me out when you really step back. For me, it's an aha moment. Trucks even deliver your cars.
Yep. Yep. No doubt.
Think about it.
No doubt.
Trucks even have to deliver your cars.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Right next to Dave's frying pan.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, I've got a little story behind that, but anyway.
Trucks.
Tell. Oh no! I mean, Amazon. You can't beat Amazon. So I was one of the. It's actually a really cool company. It's called Lodge Cookware or whatever. They're in Tennessee. They've been around for over 100 years. And so I stumbled upon their webpage and started looking through their products. And Jackie and I have been talking about getting a cast iron frying pan for quite a while. And of course, I'm like, well, they don't have free shipping. They were going to charge me $10 to ship it. It probably wouldn't be here for a week or more. And so, of course, I opened up Amazon. They sell the same Lodge frying pan. I might have even been a couple dollars cheaper. I get it in a day.
Right.
It came the next day. And it's like, how do you beat that? It's
Yeah,
terrible.
You can't,
Well,
Dave.
Same day delivery would beat it.
Yeah.
I just ordered something and it was like, do you want it at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning? I'm like, well, okay.
Right.
right.
I just thought about something the other day, and
And it showed
I
up.
walked in the door.
That's because your phone's reading your thoughts.
Then I looked at my bank, and the money was gone. I was like, oh,
I was the other day when Amazon showed up. I was passing out Amazon packages like Christmas gifts. It's like, oh, one for you, one for you, one for me.
You get one and
Somebody-
you get one.
somebody
Yeah.
called you Oprah. It was weird.
Dave, I have a question for you. Why did you buy a Lodge pan?
For the history of the company and the way that they explained how they're made, all American, materials and made in America, the history of the company. I mean, you could even buy a frying pan with different themes on the bottom,
Yeah.
American themes or historic themes or whatnot. And the price was pretty good compared to other brands.
And do you believe it's the best pan?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not an aficionado. We just cooked some chicken thighs in it that day. We got it and they came out pretty good.
Sounds like you put a lot of thought into it, though. I mean, it was a thoughtful purchase.
Yeah.
I mean, my guess is it's a pretty good pan.
Yeah, sounds.
I don't think
great.
a company can be around for 100 years if they're not a pretty good pan, right? And I guess what I was leading up to is I bet they have pretty good people there making those pans. They're not made in another
Absolutely.
country.
And I
Right?
bet you
They're-
they have a really good family culture, just like we do.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You have to have the best to create the best. And that's what this podcast is about. We're trying to help everyone become their best. They may not be yet when they arrive here, but hopefully this podcast makes you think and create a way, and we're providing a culture to help you be your best, right? To do the best, make the best decisions, to help you, to help your family, to help everyone be better all the way around, right? That's what this podcast is about. It sounds corny, but we want to be the Lodge cast iron pan, right? I mean, there's a reason they're rated for that. So, yeah, anyway.
So you're shaking your head, Jim. You have some Lodge cookware, huh?
Tyler loves to cook. Danielle's husband, my son-in-law, he loves to cook with the Lodge pans, and we've been trying to buy him the different sizes. He'll do what's the pot called? They have a name for the pot.
Oh yeah, with the lid.
And stuff.
Dutch oven.
Yes,
Dutch
Dutch
oven, and he does desserts. He's a wonderful cook. But we've been buying the ones with the big eagle on them, Dave.
Yeah, I saw
So
those,
I
yeah.
knew when you brought them up as a Lodge, I knew that was the brand with the the branding of the eagle, and I think it's an eagle with a flag. And anyway, so I'm sure Tyler, because he listens to the podcast, he'll text me and go, "Yeah, that's a eagle with a flag or whatever." But,
Shout out, Tyler.
Yep. But yeah, that's the. Yeah, Dave, you purposely buy that stuff because of the history, the branding, what you think they represent. You're hoping that they would stand behind their pan if there was a problem.
Quality price.
Quality,
right?
yeah.
It's not just an
Yeah.
outrageous.
And you don't mind
price.
paying a little more for it because you're hoping you're getting that great pan. You could get another pan and it may not have that quality. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Didn't know what a Lodge pan was 5 minutes ago, and now I can't live without one.
You were today years old when you learned about it.
Yeah.
Today years old. I like that. Yeah.
That's his.
I'm not surprised.
I'm sure I screwed it up somehow.
No, you did that one good. That one was great. Linda made a note. Your dispatch needs to be done in order.
What?
What order do they need to be done? Not the order you get your text, but you need to hit the link, go to all loads and verify the date, and then do them in order in Toro. We are having lots of drivers not paying attention to their dispatch and doing loads out of order and less efficiently. For example, a driver was supposed to load from Manitou Springs, then go to Fairplay, and he went to Fairplay first.
Ouch.
It was much more efficient to go to Manitou, then Fairplay, not Fairplay, then come all the way back up to grab Manitou Springs. Not to mention the customer wanted the load in the morning. Had to change up dispatches to get it covered. Better to call dispatch if you have any questions. So not only does it benefit JFW for you to do it the right way, but it benefits you too. And if you actually delivered your Fairplay or went to Fairplay first and then had to come all the way back, you would realize that was a big waste of time.
Yeah, I
money.
just lost 2.5 or 3 hours.
Yeah, and the fuel and
if you owned that truck, there's no way you'd do it that way.
Right.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, not only that, but I mean, look at what you made versus what you could have made.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to ask. I just want to clarify on that because we have a new dispatch system that we're using with Toro. It sounded like it alluded that they're getting multiple texts
yes,
that
Dave.
aren't in order for loads to be done until you log in.
right.
The text has nothing to do with the load. You're right, Dave.
Right. So I'm kind of given like an escape route, or here's the educational moment, right? Because I haven't physically used it, so I'm kind of educating myself. When I'm saying this, it's almost a question, but like phrasing it, you need to make a point, no matter how many texts you get, to log in, because that's going to give you the loads in that order.
First, second, third, right?
That's how they end up in. They don't say that.
They
Dave.
don't?
I mean, unless they wrote it on there,
right?
In there.
Well,
but
you always used to, and we'd get they were paper, but we'd get our dispatch, and there'd be 3 papers in there.
Right.
First, second, third was clearly written on the paper.
Yeah. And what you're asking, Dave, is because they said they were going to try to make it a little bit bigger or change it. When you log in, with your text, it has the blue arrow up in the very corner, Dave, and you hit it, and it says all loads behind it. It's the only problem. It's not very big, but if you're used to any kind of programs, where's the edit button and where's the close button? It's always up in the corner. They tried to make it friendly that way.
I do know we've sent some emails out on it. I'm just,
Right.
here's our way to help educate everyone. Because, like I say, I know you ran in it.
Yeah.
You used it for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And again, I haven't, so I'm hesitant in talking about it, if I say something wrong. So
yeah, I mean, the guys now have more experience than I do at it, right, Dave? So if we're making mistakes, but for the week when Linda would send me loads and stuff, I never found it out of order.
Gotcha.
So hopefully it doesn't, I'm sure there's somehow it gets out of order.
So let me ask you, and I don't even know if this is possible, but if you got like 3 texts, does each text have a load on it when you just see the text before you click the link? Because is that what's happening, Jim? They get one text, it's like, oh, first load Fairplay, and I'm going to work. You know what I mean? You saw it the night before, and it's like, oh, my first load's Fairplay because you didn't log in.
And you can do that several different ways, but it has the link. The text has the link to get you back on, so you look at all loads.
Okay.
So, because we even played with it, you can send a message. Some of the stuff, she was just sending me a note.
Okay.
Hey, we're going to have burritos for breakfast, because she was messing around with it.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was
the dispatch.
Yeah, that was the dispatch. And then I still went, and hit the button, and it put the loads there on what we were supposed to do, and then they have notes.
Sure.
But you do have to read it, and I didn't want to finish this, because you're trying to stay away from us complaining about it like we're better than anybody else, and we're not, because we make mistakes. But again, with this trying to make orders, and we had other drivers that had to make up for that load. We had dispatch that's great dispatchers. We covered the load. We covered the customer. We did all this.
Sounds like time and money.
But if right, time and money, and that's exactly what I'm saying, Dave. No matter what, we paid you for that time. We paid you for the load. We took care of you. That cost you nothing by watching that. But we would have that choice, or if you got something delivered, a lodge pan, or you ordered pizza, or your meal was late, what do you expect when you have a problem? To be fixed,
Customer service.
or comped, right?
Yeah.
That's comped. So what if we turned to you and said, hey, you need to comp this load to that customer? What? Because it's the what if.
Yeah.
What if we had to do that? What if we would do that? What if that was your only customer and you just lost him because all you did was didn't read?
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Great point.
And that's the what if we live in. And we're larger. We can make changes.
And why do we talk about the what if? Because it's happened.
Because it's happened. Yeah.
Those are two very big words, huh?
What?
Yeah. What if? Yeah. And that's what I'll mention. It's a good point to put that. What if we talked about that motorcycle guy? The video that ran from the Springs up here in 20 minutes. And I had an opportunity to ask the colonel of the state patrol, and he's like, we are very close to putting handcuffs on that guy. And he goes, he's done it in multiple states. And it's basically, he might look like a hero to other people, but it's no more different than a bank robber.
It's reckless.
It's reckless. He will rob a family or a single person of their life or something.
Yeah,
could be just money.
Here's the what if. What if he would have hit the back of one of our trailers and died? And the big what if to that is not only what that driver had to experience that happened, right? That's a mandatory audit for JFW because it's a fatality. So now the state patrol's in here auditing our books. That takes a week of our time. And that's not one person's time. That's dispatch. That's safety. That's Gemini. We've been through half a dozen audits over the years, and here's the what if. We've had that happen. We've dealt with it, right? We've had 2 fatalities that weren't our fault and had to deal with that. Here's the what if. And those are things that are out of your control, right? But that's my point.
Yeah, and I want to quickly mention, even though we're...
Control the things you can control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you need to let that car merge in and you see it, let it frickin' merge in. We don't have the time or energy to deal with that.
Yeah, and I want to quickly talk upon it, and Mike's good about it, though, is, jacks and all that kind of stuff. Same thing for the mechanics out in our shop.
Oh, yeah.
Is the what if.
Yeah.
Make sure there's a jack under there, make sure there's a block, make sure there's some kind of safety in place, make sure it's, the park brake's pulled, all that kind of stuff. The what ifs go to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like the driver is the captain of that ship, that mechanic is the captain of his area.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He needs to be
Yep.
safe. We
Yep.
we are all for safety.
Yes.
I mean, how
safety
many
first for a reason. I mean, everyone here is safety first, and it's like, oh, company policy. And the point is we don't want you to be hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like being hurt, and I don't mean you cut your finger. I mean, you have a serious injury that's changing your life.
Yes.
Whether it be out on the road or it be in the shop, we want you to be safe for your own health. If you get hurt and you can't provide for your family, what were you doing to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
I do want to make a quick correction. Earlier I said Veronica's accident was shortly after the podcast. It was actually at 4 p.m. I don't know what made me think of that. But
I was going to correct you, Jam, but it's irrelevant.
what stopped you this time?
I mean, it didn't matter. You know what I mean?
It does a little bit.
It
the
got
facts
us
are
to
the
rush
facts.
hour, right? That was kind of the reason
Yeah.
traffic was stopping.
And-
that was probably what caused the 2 trucks to hit each other because one truck came
Oh.
off of the hill too fast
Yep.
and the other truck didn't. You know what I
Couldn't
mean?
count on it.
We're going to talk about rush hour. I found some interesting facts about that. But,
I bet.
Let's see. JR wanted to mention, don't rev your trucks up in the cold weather to build your air up, right? It is terrible for the engine. In the summertime, you don't lose as much air. You may start your truck and your air might already be built up. But if you lost your air and it's cold out and you're revving your engine before that oil has a chance to lubricate the parts that need to be lubricated, you are causing damage to that engine.
Yeah, you did a really good analogy on this a couple weeks ago. Give your analogy again about how the alarm went off and you just jumped out of bed and did a sprint.
Did I say that?
Somebody did. I thought it was you.
Maybe.
I mean, think about it. When that alarm goes off, I don't know about you guys, but I can't. I'm barely moving. Like I'm barely getting to the place I need to go, and yada yada yada. I couldn't imagine just being fired up. It's cold out,
Right.
and wham, you're at full speed ahead. Think about how your body reacts. It's the same difference. That truck is just like your body. It's a creation.
I do remember now. Yeah. That's a good point.
He was such in a hurry, you forgot.
Yeah.
Right.
My oil was it's going, man.
It
I was
wasn't
revved
lubricating.
up.
Yeah.
I was 20 minutes from the Springs to here. So. Chris Bean want to make a note for the podcast. If you see something, say something, especially on 285 when running fair play. If you pass an accident scene or any potential hazards, such as a herd of deer, objects in the road, etc., please alert the other drivers that will be approaching it, especially if they're within a mile or two of the scene. While true, each driver is responsible for their ship, every little bit helps. Last week, while headed to fair play with 002 behind me, dropping down the hill just after Pine, there was a large accident scene on the shoulder and partially blocking the lane. None of our drivers said anything to us. It was certainly a surprise when we came around the curve to all those emergency lights. We weren't speeding and easily slowed down and moved over, but you just never know. Communication is the key to being accident-free. Together, it would have been really greatly appreciated. Remember, on 285, we should be all on channel 19, not
That
channel
is such
23.
a great reminder. I mean, we should almost be it with our prayer, Jam. You know what I mean? Just as a reminder every
Yeah,
week.
see something, say something.
Yeah, and to be on channel 19 on 285 because we're here. It's not as critical, right? Up there, it's pretty damn critical.
We pray you're on channel 19.
I was just going to say that, Jeff. God, please let us remember to be on 19.
We should call 285 19, right? We should just automatically say, "Oh, you're on 285 19."
Takes, 17 times to make a habit. There you go.
So, Jim, you came back. You were gone Thursday, Friday,
yeah,
and the weekend.
and Saturday, yeah, and
Yeah,
then came back
Monday.
Sunday. Yeah, it was the first time I was able to, and you can attend it every year, but that I took advantage of attending the CMCA, so the Colorado Motor Carriers Association, is kind of their big end of year hoopla. They have a lot of vendors up there. A lot of the companies make it. They have inspirational speeches. They have some things on what's going on in the times, improvements for the year to come, just different things. It's a summary of the year, really. And I just wanted to touch on a few items here. One of the speakers that was really good was, let me turn to him here, Colonel Matthew Packard. And I know it says Colonel. I called him the Colonel. But in his title here, I guess the Colonel is the chief, or also the chief, because they called him the chief of Colorado State Patrol. And he was very well spoken. He was passionate. And one of the couple of things I want to touch on is I did mention that I had a chance to ask him about the motorcyclist that made that run. He said they almost got him in handcuffs, which I mentioned, because he's done this in multiple states. And so it's a multiple jurisdiction that they're trying to nab him. So that's kind of taking care of that. And then one of the things that he touched upon coming into the future and what's going on with State Patrol is they're really trying to hire more patrolmen. And he said, you look at that, and he says, everybody goes, oh, there's going to be more people to write tickets and different stuff like that. And he's not. He's after an enforcement, but he's after education. He's after the presence of the troopers on the road. And we all know when you see a cop, you slow down. And he said, if we don't have a presence, we can't make a difference out there, even if it's not a stop. And just like we've talked in the podcast, they're fighting continually speeding and distracted driving. That's what causing most of the accidents. And then when it comes to the trucking side, and I mentioned Glenwood Canyon, is some kind of, if you're getting a Colorado CDL, maybe you have to have so many videos or take a special test about the mountains. Because if you have a Colorado CDL, more than likely you will run our mountains. If you get a CDL from another state, maybe there's a piece or some software or something that goes along with that license that can tell you, here's what you need to do in our mountains, because I-70 is their Achilles tendon. And, I think of how bad I-25 is or different stuff like that. But, again, for the trucking side, it's the brakes, it's the downhill, it's the canyon, getting through it, Glenwood Canyon, trying to pass. It's chaining up, it's the weather and everything like that. And so, he'd much rather have one of his troopers pull somebody over, not issue a ticket, but have an educational moment. And when I said he mentioned one thing he struck me, and I'll move on, is that, that if he'd get a driver to slow up and take 5 minutes more through the Glenwood Canyon, what would that save us? What would that save him or her or whatever? And you're back to that. That 5 minutes might save you hours, and then that's when he mentioned about closing the canyon, that's when they close it, it's closed. It's not like temporary close like on I-70. So yeah, here's, and then he mentioned, that there's a similarity between the State Patrol and like what we do, because there's no a work at home State Patrol. There's no work at home, truck driver. There's no, the State Patrol and the truck drivers, we don't have Zoom sessions. Can't get away with it. We're
funny, Jim. So far, all you've done is talk about what we talk about.
Exactly, Dave. I mean, he did that's
all you've done.
Except for, and not that we can't get shot at, but everything he talked about, the only thing it was just like what we're doing, except those guys could get shot at.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, but it's not like a truck driver can't get shot at. So yeah. So, a shout out, if you'd ever hear this, to Colonel Packard, great guy, seemed like he cared a lot about his troops, which we do here. And then, for everybody, if you have the time, let me flip to that page. They had an inspirational speaker on that.
Can I just jump in there, Jim? Because it's just uncanny how similar everything you just talked about and what we talk about here. I just looked up the Colorado State Patrol's mission statement, and it's so funny because we've had on Sergeant Griniger.
Yeah, and I mentioned it to
great guest, right?
Colonel Packard.
I mean, so cool. But the mission of the Colorado State Patrol is to ensure a safe and secure environment for all persons by utilizing the strength of our members. I mean, is that not
right?
Is that not what we're talking about every single day?
Yep.
So
and he mentioned, cool. If you see one of our guys, give them a pat on the back, that kind of thing. It goes a long ways. But he said if they're messing up, I want to hear about that too. He didn't skip that part. Not everybody's perfect. And then one of the inspirational speaker that they had on there was Chad Porter. And I can have Jam put it out on a link or whatever. But he wrote a book about severed dreams, and he was 15 years old, and he was a star athlete. At 15, he already had scholarship offers to play football at different colleges. He was on a ski team, a national ski team that toured. I think he mentioned like North Carolina, South Carolina, that kind of region. All the different lakes and stuff, and they were trying water skiing. Yes, water skiing. Yeah, if I didn't say that, because I can visualize his story because I listened to him. Right, water ski. Anyway, he had a water ski accident where they were at the beach. They were trying to get off the lake. Somebody bumped the throttle, ran over him with the boat, severed one of his legs below the knee, cut the other leg back up in a bunch of different places. And at 15, he knew what he wanted to do with his life. And, a lot of us don't know what we're wanting to do with our life at 15. And he said, I did. And he said, I losing the leg stopped all that. And he was able to get a prosthetic, and he was able to live a lot of his dreams. I mean, he still became the high scorer of his basketball team, things like that. So very, very inspirational. And I'll end on my final thoughts on one of his thoughts. So that was really good. And then, a couple of things I want to mention, and here's a little competition for all of us here. And ATRI, it's the American Transportation Research Institute. Any one of us can join it. They do ask for donations. You don't have to give a donation to join, but this is what keeps them in business. Single people give donations, companies give donations. but they've been gathering fact after fact after fact, and I'm going to spit this one out just to give a little competition or some love out to like Veronica and our other women drivers. Is female drivers outperformed males in every statistically significant behavior. Male drivers are 14% more likely to be involved in a crash than a female driver. So
Are these driveway incidents or just
right, you know, and so that's just a little fun that they ran that, and you know, female drivers or male drivers are 14% more likely to be involved in an accident than over a woman. So that was a fun statistic. Back to the little bit of the political side, I wanted to give these figures out. It's all due to the electric truck. So they went over the electric truck because nobody there was for it, and yet nobody can seem to stop the roll of them trying to go to electric vehicles. So one of their big things at Atri was
Jim. Can I
before
you throw that out there, right? Because you have
in
all
there.
the stats in front of you. Why aren't they for the electric trucks yet?
because it doesn't work.
It's not possible.
It's
yet,
not
right?
possible. I don't know.
It's not that they're not for it, and I don't want to
you're
change
right.
your words.
You're right. They said it that way. Thank you for they are for it.
Yes.
But it doesn't work.
Yes.
And
we're all for it.
Yeah.
It's not there yet.
right.
It doesn't.
The infrastructure's not there. The longevity for the whole thing.
Battery technology is
The weight. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was all part of that. So that, like you said, Jim, the infrastructure. Yeah. So this is some of the, and I didn't think about it. So, and I don't know what BEV charging is, so I'd have to look that up. But it says regardless.
battery electric vehicle.
Is that all it is? So the
yes.
BEV. Okay. So because we're ICE, right? Yeah. What's ICE? Combustion engine. Internal combustion engine, because all our trucks are ICE.
And then a BEV a ZEV is a zero emission vehicle.
Yep.
So BEV is battery electric vehicle. ZEV is zero emission vehicle.
Which a BEV is a ZEV. Should be.
No, well, a ZEV it could run on anything.
Hydrogen.
Yeah, it could run on hydrogen.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't produce carbon.
Right. Yep.
Everything that all of our green plants and trees and grass needs.
Yep. So one of the first things, the little note right off the bat was, so if you have if you're charging a BEV, so what does that do to your hours of service and parking availabilities? So I hadn't really thought about hours of service. How are they going to account that you're still with that truck charging and now you're limited? So there's a little something to overcome. So
which at best is a minimum of 4 hours.
Right.
The best charger they can come up with right now takes 4 hours to charge a truck battery. And that's $1 million
That's
charger.
probably only up to 60 or maybe 80%. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, we don't have it obviously yet, Dave, but I mean, it was my understanding that was 100% charge is the best they can do is 4 hours right now.
yeah. So even the 4 hours, Dave. So, and I know we've talked about if we wanted to charge one of our trucks, it would take 10 homes, right? So So a parking case study, and this all has to do with parking. So to charge one requires enough daily electricity to power more than 5,000 U.S. homes for 126 trucks charging. 5,000 homes. Okay?
Sounds great.
So then they keep spitting this stuff out. So to charge all these trucks, okay, and have availability, at minimum, every truck parking space would need a charger. So that's 313,000 spaces to be able to charge all the trucks on the road. Okay. Wow. And then the initial equipment for these parking places is $35 billion.
Wow.
Is what they estimate.
Just ask Biden for it.
Yeah.
Right. He's about.
We give that to other countries every day.
Right. So what's a big deal but if we ask everybody to spend $35 billion putting charging stations in, we wouldn't do that. Just wouldn't. So that was an interesting one. So, and then I want to touch on this just for our safety piece here. So, top 10 crash predictors, and this is for the guys that are working here. And if you would go someplace else and, try to get a job, and, this is for us also. So, if you have a ticket on your license, one of I'll just do the top 3 is you're a future crash likelihood. So if you get a job and you've had this violation, you're 141% increase in likelihood to have another crash if you failed to yield at a right-of-way violation.
Wow.
So if stop sign or something like that,
A left
stop
turn.
If you haven't yield a failure and you got that ticket, you're 141% more likely to have a crash later on.
Oof.
So if you come to our company with that crash. So failure to use improper signal conviction. Okay. So you've not used your turn signal. So just like we talked, our safety, has no
Safety
blind
has
spot.
no blind spot. Should blink 4 times.
Yeah, the 4
before
times.
you even get close to that dotted line.
Yeah,
right?
so if you have that violation, you're 116% likely to have an upcoming crash.
So basically, when we're running motor vehicle records and we see a failure to yield or improper use of
turn signal.
that's a big red flag.
Absolutely. Yep. So this is the one that she said we can't count on, because what it doesn't say is it's whether it's your fault or the other person's fault. So if you've had a past crash, you come to us with a past crash on your license, you're 113% likely to have another crash.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. Even
She said you don't. You can't agree with that, Jam, because this statistic doesn't say whether it's your fault or the other person's fault.
but I feel like if it was my fault, I'm just arguing for the fun of it. I guess, right?
Yeah.
If I had an accident today, I feel like I would be super diligent to not have another one. Do you know what I mean?
I do. But that's the reason you have the position you have here, and that's the reason you're part of our culture.
Gotcha.
And you're willing to change.
Right.
Some people aren't willing to change.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, that kid that hit
accident-
Veronica. Yeah.
Yeah, he may
understood.
say the accident wasn't his fault. We've had people that work here, and it's a very short time until they have an accident and go, well, that wasn't my fault. And they don't
Right.
take any ownership
Yeah.
because they're not willing to change.
Yeah, that guy shouldn't have.
Yeah,
went on
I
a
guess
green
my
light.
question to that and where I thought you were headed, Jam, is if the accident wasn't my fault, I didn't get a ticket for it, and you don't have it on the record. There should be no record of
That's true.
Veronica's accident in her driving history
True.
Well, I think
because it was. I mean, she's not.
She wasn't cited.
ticketed. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think if that's you're right, Dave.
So,
yeah,
so I mean, if you had an at-fault accident and were ticketed for it, that's 114% likely you're going to have another accident.
Yep. And then something just way off. So they also have 55% of drivers that they interviewed. They believe that if they're hauling or working in a state that marijuana is legal, they're allowed to smoke marijuana. So over half the drivers driving believe that they can smoke marijuana if they're in a state that's legal.
Well, I've been smoking marijuana here for years.
How come you haven't been sharing?
Do you mean smoke it and drive at the same time?
No.
Just can use it, Dave.
They just think they
plain
can
use
use
it.
This,
Like
this,
it's not federally illegal. They don't understand they have a federal driver's license, and it's an illegal substance to have in your bloodstream, Dave.
I want to bring this up just because of let's just say Veronica's accident. This has nothing to do with Veronica. Veronica was minding her own business, doing a great job. She got rear-ended. If that driver died, she would be required to go take a drug test,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't her fault.
Yep.
Right? That's the law. That is the law. Or if you're ticketed for an accident and that other vehicle or your vehicle is towed away, or somebody is injured and needs to be transported by ambulance from the scene, you are required to go take a drug test, right? You could be as careful as you want to be. You could be the most careful driver in the world. if you get rear-ended and somebody dies, you're going to take a drug test.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yep. And 55% of the drivers think that's okay to smoke marijuana. And if you get caught with that drug, with marijuana in your bloodstream, whatever, you get test positive, right? Had nothing to do with that accident.
Right.
But you're in deep poo-poo.
Yeah.
And here I'm going to tie everything together with what we've talked about so far as being a good person and being responsible and yada, yada, yada. So, okay, you were rear-ended. Say that person did die. Even though it's not your fault, we drug test you. You test positive for marijuana, and that family's pissed. Even though they know it was their sons or brothers or mother's fault for hitting them. And they just get a lawyer just to investigate.
Yep. You shouldn't have been on the road.
And they find out you didn't pass your drug test. Guess what? It's going south.
Yep. You shouldn't have been on the road.
You will be sued. We're an unsafe company. I mean, you name it.
yards.
Even though you did everything right except that one little thing. Right?
That's because we got people like the people that are encouraging Veronica to milk this and sue people in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, same mindset. Huh?
It does nothing but raise our insurance rates.
Yeah. Not only ours, just across America.
Yeah, the
Well,
nation.
that's what I'm
the
getting.
nation.
When I say ours, not just JFW.
It's the
yours
problem.
and yours and yours and mine and everyone listening to this podcast. Your insurance rates just went up because those insurance companies are sued. Period.
Yep. And then just a couple more I want to just touch upon
Yeah, these are great.
right quick. So they also did the ranking when they send out questionnaires, and you can answer them if you're an ATRI member, and they have their standard set of questions, and then they have a spot where you can handwrite in, and they brag that they read all the handwritten notes, and if they have a state that writes in enough information, they'll give just a state statistic. So Colorado, they had enough Colorado drivers to write in to break out Colorado on what the top 10 concerns of a truck driver is in the state of Colorado. So our Colorado drivers, number one thing they're worried about is driver distraction. So same thing we care about. All the drivers on the road, and this is independent drivers too, along with company drivers, but distracted drivers. The cell phone usage, all that kind of stuff. So, cheers to all the Colorado drivers. I mean, that's amazing to see that. The other concern there was, which it has to do, I took it as having to do with our mountains and stuff like that, was driver training standards. And when I see that, I'm thinking, God, look at all the training we do. We're trying to be top notch. We're trying to be ahead of that. We're trying to cover the what if. So I was proud of that. Next concern is hours of service. Do we have drivers out there that are running over hours of service? Fourth is fuel prices. And the reason it was a concern with fuel prices is it's the independents that also take this survey. And then number 5 was driver shortages, that there's a shortage of drivers, and I think that could be, I don't know why that would come up as a concern, but maybe just their industry not having the best. And then I just want to jump down here to number 8, marijuana legalization. That was a concern for drivers in Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, so it made the top 10. So that was interesting. And then so as far as across the nation, and they're able to do commercial driver and a company driver, or the commercial driver's concerns and the company's concerned. So the top one for a driver across the nation was compensation. So obviously wages. So that's good to hear. But the top concern for the companies was economy. So I think that means to me that the companies do care, but maybe because of the economy.
Can we afford to give them what they want?
Exactly, Jam. And then second for the driver out in the nation was truck parking, because they can't find safe truck parking.
We see that every Monday morning over here.
Exactly.
Every morning.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
Today.
it's Wednesday morning, and Scooby had to get us, what was it, a Swift truck?
Yep. And then just right quick here. So this was to start her presentation, and I want to thank everybody here, no matter what your age here is at JFW. But in 2023, I think this is for 2022, so it hasn't changed in 2023. But the average age of a truck driver right now is 45 to 54 years old.
Wow.
And that's the average age. And as you follow the chart back to a 20 to 24 year old, so we're so the top of so 45, between 45 and 54, 25.1% of the drivers are in that age. That's the top. Okay. Between the ages of 20 and 24 is only 4.6. It's at the bottom. So there is no new drivers coming into this business.
Wow.
And what
But
sucks,
you know
Jim, is
that-
our hands are. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's insurance company regulation. I have to tell these guys we can't hire you until you're 25, and I do make a few exceptions based on our total numbers, and we've talked about this too. We're losing drivers because then a guy gets out of high school and he goes, well, I guess I'll go into the IT business or something.
Yeah, yeah. And it does show that, Dave, because from 25 to 34, it takes a large spike up to 20%.
Oh, sure.
But like we've said, and she said this too. The lady was awesome that did this, evaluated all the statistics. But you've picked a career, or you've had to take care of yourself or make a living way before you turn 25, right?
Yep.
So, and then just want to end this, and I ask all the guys here this morning. So, in recruiting, top female drivers, ages, everything else like this, what's the top recruitment to get you into the driving field? What has been the biggest driver that when you've chosen to be a driver for your career? And I ask everybody here at the table, and I was shocked at the answer too. It's because you have a member that's a truck driver. You have a family member that's a truck driver. And I thought that was so interesting that, you've brought into it, you've been brought into the fold or the culture because you have a family member that's been driving. And then I think of Gillies. That's what brings me back to Gillies' text was, you guys, by letting the family members join you, we've possibly created a future driver that obviously we need. So, so thanks everybody out there. Thanks your families. Be safe. And, I enjoyed the, learning about this stuff. It's good stuff. A lot of value there.
Yeah, that sounded awesome. That must have been a good time. Did Holly enjoy it?
Yeah. She sat through all the stuff with me. And
Nice.
there was a whole piece on when you need a CDL, when you're qualified, weight of your vehicle, weight of your trailer, non-CDL drivers, a medical card, because you may not need a CDL, but if you meet certain weight categories, you do need a medical card. You don't need a CDL, especially if you're going out of state. And so she found it so interesting because of Arapahoe Roofing. They'll take their F-350s or a 450, they'll hook a trailer to it, and because they're crossing state lines, they don't need a CDL, but their drivers have to have a medical card.
Did they already know that, or is that new for them?
Well, they learned at the port last year.
But the guy that gave the guidelines, Holly's like, here, I have it written down that I can do a test. What's your trailer? Is it over 10,001? Is your vehicle 26,001 pound? And she goes, are you crossing a state line? The guy gave out a whole chart to go, yes,
awesome.
yes. And she can go, I can look right at him and go, you need a medical card. We can't go do that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. We have one question from the audience, and this is from Ricardo Cordova, who is a former driver here. Good guy. He's friends with Paco as well. He says, with all your guys' knowledge about new and old semi-trucks, have you thought about opening a service department for non-JFW trucks?
Every day.
We actually tried that a long time ago. We tried to take care of one of our customers' trucks, and man, it's back to the same old thing. For one, insurance.
Right.
I mean, you got to have the insurance, but you're dealing with a whole set of customers that if you didn't fix their truck just right, if you're, you can't take the liability. Like if you're working on somebody's trucks, for example, and the front axle it's obvious it needs the brakes replaced, right? The back axle hey, it needs brakes, but your drums are just really close, and your customer goes, hey, I can't afford to have the drums replaced. Don't do that, but go ahead and do the front axle. That's serious. But we're recommending you need the drums, and we can get by with the brakes. And let's say that a brake drum breaks or a brake, so then you're liable for that. And it's a tough business. Repair shops are not easy, and I think the reason he's asking is because our knowledge, it would be nice to fix somebody's truck and get them on down the road,
Right.
And maybe at a reasonable rate. That would be fantastic. And it would be another facet, income for JFW. We have great mechanics here that could do that, but that's
The biggest answer to that too, though, Jim, is room. We don't
Yeah,
have
room.
for it.
Yeah,
we don't
and
even
we're-
have room to park a truck,
Time.
and we don't have the bodies.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. We don't have the spare mechanics to do that.
Yep.
So
Yeah. All
good
All-
question though.
Yeah, good to
great
hear.
question. Just
Great.
all knows.
Great hearing from you too, Rico.
Yep.
All right, safety topic of the week: happy loads and accidents. So you've probably heard us on the radio this week talking about it's that time of the day. It's 3:30. We're going to get our happy load. Don't let your guard down. Stuff like that. That is because during rush hour there's more likely chance of an accident. But before I get to that, in 2022 there was almost 32,000 deaths in America due to motor vehicle accidents.
Wow.
That is a disgusting number, right?
How many, Jim?
Almost 32,000.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
And that last year was our worst year too. I don't know, because I thought you looked it up, Jam, unless you got it there. Here in Colorado was 800.
Yeah, I didn't look up just the state. Yeah.
I mean, out of that 32,000, we had like 700 or 800 of
Right.
them.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
sickening.
I mean, think about it. And I hate to bring up these things, but like the World Trade Center, right? When the planes crashed into that, how many people died? 2,000 something, right?
Yeah, I thought it was three, but
It
either
was
way,
three.
Okay, let's
couple
say
thousand.
Let's
that
say
included
3,000.
the Pentagon, and that included the crash in Pennsylvania Field.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
3,000 something
Right.
people.
And then look at what's going on. Like, I don't know the total number, but at one time last week, there was 1,800 Israelis that had been killed in the war, right? Those numbers, when we hear that, because it's war, it makes us feel a certain type of way. Like, that's disgusting. 32,000 Americans died. Horrible deaths on the road last year.
Yeah.
Or 2022.
That's okay, Jam.
Yeah.
That 32,000
Now-
people.
Some of them are accidents, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like legit. But like if that kid the other day plowed into the back of a Hyundai, and a family of 5 died, I mean, that's just disgusting to me. So
I mean, I was just waiting for you to get there, Jim. But my question to that is, of those 32,000, how many were preventable?
I want to say,
31,000 probably.
right. Yeah. I mean,
Because if you look at it, and I bet that because it's on the road, but the coal train that derailed and killed the truck driver
Right.
below
Yeah.
the bridge,
Yeah, that was
that went on the highway statistics,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's preventable, Dave, just like you're asking. What is
Yeah.
there, one? Like you're saying 1,000?
Yes.
Out of
Yeah.
32,000?
Yeah. I mean, I bet the ones that are preventable, I bet it's staggering the number that are. Look
So
at the
human-
accidents we have
it's
that are all preventable.
preventable. It's human error.
Yeah.
It's human error. So
It's choices.
it is. It's
It's
bad
decisions.
choices. Or
It's
good
decisions. It's like driving out of here with your lights off.
ones. Yep. So what is rush hour? Rush hour is considered 3.5. I don't know why they say rush hour. It should be rush 3.5 hours, right? Because
Rush hour.
Rush hours.
yeah, because it's like 6 to 9:30 in the morning is considered rush hour, and then like 3 to 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
is considered rush hour. And there's an increased risk during rush hour. Aggressive driving, truck driving, bicycle riding, and weather-related conditions increase the risk of crashes and injuries by 41% during rush hour. Not only that, but we let our guards down, right? Oh, we're on a happy load. This is it. I made it through the day. We're thinking about our wives or our girlfriends or our kids or what we got going on after work. We're almost close to home. Everyone knows, or maybe you don't, but a lot of crashes, most crashes happen 5 miles from your house because, again,
You've let your guard down.
You've let your guard down. So we need to stay diligent on these happy loads. You know?
Yeah, and does the percentage work that way? Because 41% happened during rush hour, so I'm just going to round that up to 50%.
Well, there's an increase of 41%.
So increased by 50%. So how many of the 32,000 deaths, if there's a 50% increase,
Right.
happened right at rush hour?
Right. Well,
Is
that
that
15,000?
yeah, exactly? Is that half of that, or pretty close to that?
Yeah.
So that's even more amazing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's just one of my fears. I'm not scared of a whole lot. I don't want to die in a piece of metal on asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To me, that's not the way I want to go. Going to Veronica's accident the other day and being able to get right up next to that car and looking at the inside of that car, it'll make you think about driving a little differently. You know?
Yeah, that's that scared straight, Jam, and I know that exact feeling, and I shouldn't know that feeling, Jam. I mean, nobody should know that feeling, right? And that the girl that was texting and hit the back of us, you know, our brake pod was at her steering wheel. The brake pod of the axle on the axle was at her steering wheel.
Crazy.
And that's the same thing you witnessed right there. That's the reason they had to cut him out, right, Jam? The engine was in his seat.
There was, when you look in there, I mean, there's a picture of him and a dog still in the car. There's a guy just leaning on the car because they can't do anything. They're waiting for the fire department to come with the jaws of life. You know, he's in there moaning and groaning. The dog's biting people, and you look in there when it's all done and the door's cut off, and it's like, man, imagine being stuck in there with no way out.
In pain.
In pain. Imagine, it's another what if. Imagine if that car caught fire.
Yeah.
And you can't get out. Imagine being a bystander or Veronica or somebody who wants to help that guy get out of that car and they can't do anything about it.
There's when real goodwill kicks in, Jim.
Heroes, that's where what's your thing?
The
You guys,
amygdala. You got to have a huge amygdala to run into a burning vehicle.
Well, I mean,
and pull somebody out.
Yeah, I hate to say this, you guys. I mean, I'll kind of speak for Jim, but he can speak for himself. But we are hardened from this business.
Yeah.
Jim and I are hardened human beings. Sometimes we may come across cold. Sometimes we may come across like we don't care. But the things we have seen and the things we have dealt with, number one, we know life goes on.
Right.
Number two, we know we're going to be forced. I complained last week about bat and cleanup, right? We're dealt. We are dealt the cards we're dealt because of someone else's choices. Mm-hmm. And that has, I don't want to say helped hardened us, but there's times it's good to be hardened and there's times it's not, right? And the things we have seen and dealt with have hardened us in our lives and our careers here. In some ways that's good, and in probably more ways it's not. Because sometimes we may look like we don't have the empathy or we don't have the compassion, but it is difficult. So when you talk about that car catching fire, the knee-jerk comment, and I don't mean this from my heart, but my knee-jerk comment, because I'm amongst a group of you guys sitting here, I would probably be like, well, let it burn. He did that to himself, and you guys know that's a joking comment,
right.
Even though the way it sounds.
We know your heart.
Yeah. If you don't know me, you're like, holy shit, Dave's a pretty hardened guy.
That's cold, bud.
Right? Right? If I were there, I think I would be like,
we got to get him out.
Who's got a fire extinguisher? How do we get, you know what I mean? I would be acting upon what's going on, but the knee-jerk reaction is, he did this. Why are we responsible?
Because you want that slight bit of accountability. You don't want the guy hurt, but you just want the accountability.
I feel you. When I'm driving down the road and I see a motorcycle go ripping past me, where it's like, I get scared for that driver.
Your heart hurts, right, Jim?
Jim.
And you guys know me, I want to be able to help people. Mm-hmm. But I think, would I go try to pick those pieces up for that guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You would, Jim.
I probably would.
We all would.
Right. But when it goes by, it's like, wow, I might see you a mile up the road and you might be hurt really bad. And if I do help you, I'm probably going to give you a hard time about it.
Right.
Wow.
And I think that's a little bit of the hardened part, Jam, is because if you don't harden a little bit,
right.
You can't survive this.
Yeah. You can't survive
emotionally,
but you also would get an attitude that you just won't help.
Right.
So you put that, because as I was thinking about the hardening, Dave, I was thinking it's a little bit of shield, and I know you said I can speak for myself, but the things we've seen and had to go do, I would be like a little blubbering puddle over here going, I can't, I just be at home.
Right.
with the lights off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like your first responders. The things they see,
Yes.
the things
Yes.
they know they're going to see a murder. They know they're going to
Yeah.
see a decapitation. They know they're going to get on scene and there's going to be a little baby that's not like, you almost got to do that to protect yourself.
Absolutely. And I understand because I've had fractions of that through my life, of what they deal with every day. And I'm going, well, I couldn't do that every day. Right. That's absolutely no way. Right. I couldn't get that hard. You'd have to have that wall, big wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they do have like PTSD.
Oh yeah.
And they have to like quit and go to therapy and it
Yeah,
even though they have the wall, it's not strong enough,
Right.
I was reading something the other day, and it was a first responder giving advice to other brand new first responders. And one of her pieces of advice was to start therapy sooner than later.
To start therapy, is that what
Sooner than later. You're going to need it. Start it sooner than later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't wait.
That's the
don't
voice
wait
of
for it.
experience, huh?
You're proactive instead of reactive. Yeah.
So, all right. Tips and tricks from Ray Davis.
Who?
Ray
Davis,
Ray.
You know, 0013. Did you see
Oh,
his,
13.
did you see his Lolo yesterday?
No.
Oh,
He was out in the yard doing tricks with it.
Was he?
Yeah, it was cool.
yeah.
Dang, I missed it.
Super Dave wants to buy it from him. Be cruising down feds with
He wants to
Jackie.
take me out for a ride.
That's funny. I can picture Super on Feds over
Oh,
there
yeah.
cruising,
Just
man.
hitting them switches.
Oh, we need a camera in here.
No, we don't.
All right. Now that the weather is changing and it is getting cold in the morning, loads can or will freeze. On really cold days, load landing gear back so material won't freeze in the nose. If it's snowing but not sticking, or it's only snowing in Kenosha Pass but it's nice in Denver, can you use your overweight permit? The answer is no. Your overweight is not good in any adverse driving conditions. That's rain, fog, snow, or any adverse driving conditions. We have release agent at the main yard in a tote in the middle of the yard where the employees park their personal vehicles in between spots 45 and 54. Some have their own spray bottles, or you can find some in the shop next to where we put our paperwork in the boxes at the end of the day. At yard 23, you can find a tote with the release agent next to the wash pad. Spray your liner and the sides. You don't need much, as a little goes a long way. Also, please be respectful and don't take the spray bottles if they're not yours, or just throw them away. Please fill them back up for the next person. He put that in there because it's happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
If it snowed,
What if I take this bottle? Why are you asking what if? 'Cause it's happened.
right? What if I throw that away? If it snowed overnight or over the weekend, we most likely will have a late start to let it warm up a little before we get started. It is super important to get in your trailer and sweep or shovel the snow or ice out of your trailer. Remember to use 3 points of contact. It is super slippery on the plastic liners. I keep one hand on the side to keep my balance as I sweep the trailer out. You need to make sure you get all ice and snow out of the trailer or it will flash freeze your load, and it's not fun chipping out tons of material. And we can all agree to that. If your load doesn't come all the way out, like a ton or two, and you are going back for the same material, you can just leave it, and when you get to the pit, get a new tare weight, and remember to ask for a little less than a ton or two. That way you don't overload and be too heavy and have to trim. That's really important, guys. Otherwise we're cheating the customer, right?
Absolutely.
If you have a load that doesn't come out and you want to go haul a load or two more till it warms up to get out, you have to re-tear. Otherwise, you are a thief.
And then on the second load, when that comes out, you need to re-tear again.
Then you
Yeah,
got to
so
tear
you
again.
Your correct tear.
So have the heavy tear.
Otherwise, you're giving material away for free.
You're shorting yourself in. Yeah.
You just got to do it all the right way.
Then instead of shorting the customer, you're shorting yourself and us.
Yep. Yeah, and there is another trick too. And if you get a load frozen before you just load on top of it, I would try to chip out the last 6 to 8 feet and throw it back in the air and see if it'll break loose.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to worry about re-tearing, and you could go somewhere else. You could do other things. Yeah.
And man, the release agent is incredible how
yeah.
well it works. It is night and day.
That is.
I mean, we've had drivers that have been fighting it for like 3 loads in a day, before noon, and other drivers that just I mean, John Moore uses, I call it a
Spray bottle.
hairspray bottle,
Yeah.
right? You can wet your hair with these spray bottles.
Yeah.
He walks down the trailer and sprays that. That's all you need. And he sprays the floor of it, and he goes and dumps and goes and gets another load, you know? I mean...
Also, maybe I wasn't listening, but landing legs back, move the load back a little bit.
Yeah.
When it warms up, it will all come out. If you know you're changing materials, you have to get the material out where you dump. Remember, you can't get into your trailers at the pits. Make sure, because of MSHA, right? You can in the plants most likely, but the pits are controlled by MSHA and you're not allowed in the trailers. Make sure you're ready for this cold winter. Good jacket, gloves, and cold weather gear. It's no fun when you're cold, wind blowing on you, or your truck breaks down and you don't have a heater and freeze until someone can get to you. Hope all is well with the JFW family, friends, and listeners. Remember, safety has no blind spot. Looking lean. Sit up in your stool. Don't be that fool. Much love and respect always. Ray Ray 0013.
Nice. Thanks, Ray Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Very true. I blew a heater, a coolant line once in a snowstorm on top of Monument Hill, and it took Mikey probably 2.5 hours to get the part and get down to save me. And I was so lucky. I had my coveralls, I had gloves, and I sat there all that time, and it was like 20 degrees outside.
There's two different winters that happen here. There's a winter for the prepared and there's a winter for the unprepared. Get yourself some bibs. Get yourself some good gloves.
Yep.
Just be prepared, because if you're warm, it ain't that bad. You know, if you're cold, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah.
So,
And why do we talk about that?
because we've had it done.
Right?
I've
been there. What happened?
And
Because it's happened.
I've had both winters myself.
I was going to say,
we all
Jim,
have, Jim. There's that time, right?
that would make such a great cartoon or two pictures. The two winters. You show the guy in his bibs.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
You know, just frozen, mustache all caked with snow. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's an old Norwegian saying. There's there is no bad weather in the winter.
Yeah, it's only
There's
bad.
just bad
winter.
clothing.
Oh, bad clothing. That's awesome, Dave. That's awesome.
Soup,
Yeah.
how about that high road hauling?
I got one for you.
I bet it's a good one.
We should
It's,
have music when he reads that.
So,
Like,
yeah, we need to talk. Like a little,
we need to
like
talk.
a little DJ
no.
scratch pad.
Yeah.
Hit us with that high road hauling.
little drum roll.
So just so you know, the Zoom H8 can do that. It's got buttons to do that, but we can't hook up to the computer.
Oh, here we go.
So
Next purchase.
maybe-
it doesn't have like a horn, you've said, and stuff.
you could program different things in it, but I've been wanting to try this where we don't use a computer. We just use this, and we could use some sound effects. Actually, Albert Lopez, he had a great idea. He's like, you ever use drops? I'm like, what's a drop? He's like, some music to introduce different segues into
Oh,
the
that would
pod.
be awesome.
So maybe we'll try that next time. But we can only do it with 4 people because this won't. Oh, well, no, this one will go with 6. Huh. Oh, no, the interface, that part will only work with 4. But anyway.
Okay, if you need me to write a song, just let me know.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. We need you to write a song.
Oh, good. I got something in mind.
Yeah.
Can we do a
You
rock,
could do it right away
can we do a rock song this time?
and add music to it too.
This one's kind of rap.
Sweet. You're going to
How
wear
does
your hat
country-
backwards and a big gold chain with a clock?
Only when I get the gold tooth.
All right. Sorry to distract you, Soup Dave. Back to
It's
business.
okay. Yeah. I'm
Get us
gonna-
on the high road, Dave. We
gonna
have
have to.
digressed.
High road up. Somebody high
So,
road up.
who in this room has kids?
We all do.
Everybody does, right? So I'm thinking a lot
God.
of people out there have kids and can identify with what we're going to talk about here on the High Road Hauling. So our children,
Dave, can I interrupt you? Can you do your kid joke? Do you remember?
so yeah, my
oh,
wife,
you have it written right there.
my
this was
wife
gonna
and I
be your- this
recently
was gonna be your
decided
dad
we don't
joke,
want
right?
kids. So if anybody out there is interested, please contact us immediately so we can drop them off. But anyway, on a serious note, our children do grow up so fast. And before we know it, they're going to be out there somewhere in the real world. And we're going to be left hoping that we've done enough to prepare them for everything they'll encounter. In fact, the well-being and education of our children is more important to most parents than just about anything else. More important than healthcare, cost of living, public safety, and even their own well-being. And believe it or not, most non-parents say they're concerned about the well-being and intellectual growth of society's youth as a whole as well. This concern is spread evenly across gender, ethnicity, age, income, and political affiliation. So in short, we all care greatly about our kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and our friends and neighbors' children too. And that's a beautiful thing when you think about it. Here are 20 powerful things we can all use to help youngsters, adolescents, and adult children alike. Number 1, learning how to think is infinitely more useful than learning what to think. 2, everything is hard before it is easy, and we get stronger as we go. The biggest disappointments in life are often the result of misplaced expectations. And worry is the biggest enemy of personal growth. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Reflecting on what we're grateful for can make us happier. The lifelong pursuit of happiness is finding meaning in everything we do. The journey is the destination. I love that one too, because, you know, they always say it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah.
And essentially that's life.
Enjoying the process.
Dave,
It's talking about life.
It so is. And we don't even realize that in the moment.
No, you don't.
We don't realize that in the moment. It's crazy.
Yep. The next one, the most effective way to move away from something you don't want is move toward something that you do want. And actions always speak louder than words. That's an old truism for sure. The willingness to do hard things always opens doors of opportunity. And we always say that too. Do something hard. You know, don't take the easy road.
Get
right?
out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
Right?
Uncertainty is inevitable and must be embraced to achieve anything worthwhile. The lack of effort is what holds most people back, not intelligence. Not everything will go as planned, but we can still be prepared. Significant life-changing journeys can be taken gradually and in tiny steps. Goals don't always make positive changes happen. Daily rituals do. Trustworthiness is the foundation of a person's long-term potential. Life is filled with good and evil, and good can always triumph over evil. Amen. Who we choose to be around matters. And number 20, some people will judge us unfairly no matter how wonderful we are. And that's another truism for sure. And no matter how great of a job you do at parenting, especially if you truly do it right, your precious child won't stay with you. They will eventually break away. And parenting is the one job in life where the better you do, the more surely you won't be needed as often down the road. And that's just crazy true, isn't it?
Doesn't that kind of suck?
It does. Sure does. But it, on the one hand, the other hand, though, it makes you proud, doesn't it?
It is, but I would like to be needed just a little bit there. My kids are great. I know yours are too.
Yep. I love this quote by Johann Wolfgang Goethe, who was a medieval writer, I do believe, and poet. There are only 2 lasting bequests we can hope to give our children. One of these is roots. The other is wings. And there you have it.
Ooh. Man, I'm glad I stuck around for this one. That was awesome.
It was a good one.
I love the quote. Yeah. Roots and wings.
Which quote? God, there was so many of them in there.
Yeah.
Super Dave.
That's true, Dave.
Will you email me that one?
I sure can. And anybody else that wants it.
Yep.
Sweet. Final thoughts, everybody?
Mine's pretty short. I know I usually have something, but it's pretty simple. The Chad Porter that lost his leg and had to overcome some obstacles there. He said, through all that and finding the strength and things like that, and then he didn't go into it in his speech, but anyway, he talked about asking for help sometimes that's just the bravery. And I'm not talking about money and stuff like that. Just asking for some help. And sometimes you do have to ask for money because that can get you the help you need, right?
Right.
I mean, no matter what. But, he said the thing is he said, it's difficult to ask for help, but it's kind of like, I thought about it, and I kind of thought about us hitting the gate, or we've hauled 96,000 loads. What he's getting at is asking for help is hard, and you should try to do that. But he was looking at the other part of it, that we have so many amazing people that will help. That's where the depth comes from that he was trying to explain. He's not that you need help, that we have all these people that are willing to help. And he says it shows up in any crisis, whether it's through a nurse, a doctor, a fireman, a policeman, a truck driver on a scene, one of our mechanics, or somebody helping what CB channel you're on, or all that stuff. Is we just have this depth. We have 96,000 people that are willing, that haul those. I mean, I don't know about 96,000 people, but we have all these people that have hauled 96,000 loads that are willing to help. So that's what, ask for help.
Some of them are more than willing. They want to help. They would be happy to help you.
Oh, absolutely.
That was, and I hadn't looked at it, Jam. That was his piece. Is it's not you asking for help. It's the pool we have of helpness. That's a word, right? Helpness.
Wow. Helpness me.
Helpability.
It is now.
Helpability. We got helpability out there.
It's so hard to ask for help sometimes, though,
And
you're like, I got this, and if somebody's there willing to help, man, take it with all your heart.
Exactly.
It's just easier to do it myself, Dave. That's a joke.
Dave.
Had to throw that out there. Dave, I have something you can add. You have
can I just touch on that? So here's a Bible verse for you. Ephesians 4:10. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about kids and sending them off and giving them the right path and stuff like that, Dave. And, obviously Sam is off at college now, so everybody is hitting us. And I have been so guilty for my entire life when their kids are gone. It's like, oh, you're empty nesters now. Oh, you're empty nesters now. I didn't know how derogatory that kind of was.
Oh, wow.
And it's never meant that way, right? I don't think anyone that says it means it that way. And I know I as many times as I've said it, to me, it's like, oh, you have this exciting new life, right? And Jen and I have, right? I mean, we have this newfound freedom that we haven't experienced for, well over a decade plus, right? But I sure prefer the term bird launcher.
I thought of that, Dave.
I would much rather be a bird launcher.
Why am I picturing potato
roots and
guys?
as an
wings.
empty, huh?
Yeah, roots and wings.
Roots and wings, yeah.
Yeah, you're a bird launcher. You gave them the wings.
Yeah, I guess the empty nesters seems
like you lost.
Yeah, there's a sadness to it or something, and I never realized it until I've experienced now, and it's like, oh, damn, I like bird launcher way better. Or roots and wings. Yeah, totally good. So has nothing to do with my closing thoughts, though. But
what's your closing
argument?
argument?
To throw that out there. Man, I am torn. I have so many, and I've sat here and as the podcast, we've just continued, and it's like, I don't even have a way to tie anything together other than what we talk about every podcast. It's all about safety. It's all about your decisions. It's all about the what if, because so many of the what ifs we've seen. So we ask you, we pose the question to you, what if? I'll do a little story, and it's not to tie anything together. It's just one of the things that we've talked about so many times with our new camera system. I call it new camera system still, even though, gosh, what are we, a year and a half in now?
We're in there.
I mean, it'll be 2 years before we know it, right?
We've been on Paycom for a year to put things in
Can't wait
perspective.
for that to go away. So anyway, we're staying on the high road. Yeah, there's your sound bites, right?
Hey, remember, good always triumphs evil.
Well, we're working on it.
There's a plug for Paycom. You guys suck.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I haven't spent hardly any time in a truck with the camera. I just haven't. So I pick up the service truck Friday. Was it Friday? And I'm driving home, and it's the Dodge service truck, and the AC doesn't work in it. It's 85 degrees out, so I got the windows down. Ray Scott calls me. I'm used to always driving something with speakerphone, right? So you're always hands free. Well, that truck's an O2. It doesn't have hands-free phones, right? And I didn't think twice about it, you guys. My phone rang. I answered it. I didn't think twice about it. I'm barreling up I-25, and it's stop and go there, northbound I-25 at 84th, and then it frees up. And I'm just rolling with traffic, man. I'm like, and off I go. And pretty soon I'm like talking to Ray, and it's loud. And I keep hearing this voice. And finally it dawns on me, like, I reach up, I try to turn the stereo off twice, And I'm like, what? Ray, hang on a minute, and I'm like, I'm still accelerating, like we're rolling up, starting up 92nd Thornton Parkway. And I'm like, what is that voice? And pretty soon I finally just, hang on, Ray. I put the phone down. Sure enough, it says, slow down, excessive speed, slow down, excessive speed. And I'm like, what? Oh my God. There's a camera in this truck.
I'm pulling up Samsara right now.
Well, I'm surprised you guys didn't look it up. And
Who
didn't
says
say,
we didn't?
I know. The minute I brought it up, I saw the look on your face. I'll say thank you, JR, because I bet JR, Casey, and Kendrick were all over that.
There's been some. Hey, did you guys see? Hey, oh, look.
I was waiting for the photo to arise or
Hold on,
be left on my desk.
I'm pulling up your safety score now.
It was probably telling you to put the phone down, too.
Why is your
'cause it'll do
safety
that.
score like
Dave,
16?
it didn't say anything on the phone. And then once I realized what it said, of course, if you had video and audio, it would be hilarious. I think you could just make the funniest videos because, of course, the minute it said slow down, I looked at my speedometer and I'm doing like 68 miles an hour.
Challenge accepted.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. But here's my point.
So you're speeding and on the phone?
Oh, Dave, I'm distracted
PD.
driving. I'm like, I got all these things going against me. And this is my point. Right? I'm sitting here admitting to all of us how wrong what I did was.
Confess your
Cleansing.
sins.
Cleansing, yes. Please, Father, listen to my sins. It made me better.
Yep.
I was like, Ray, let me call you back when I get home. I can't hardly hear you anyway. I hang the phone up. I slow down, and I'm like, it was a relief. I was pushing, doing
Yep.
like, I don't want to say stupid shit. I wasn't endangering anyone. I was truly running with traffic, but
the what if?
yes, Jim. And that camera helped me. It helped me be better. And I got a kick out of it. You know what I mean? And then I'm pretty sure that was Friday. And then Sunday we were driving it to James and Erica's house, and where it goes from 2 lanes to 1 on Highway 7. I slowed up and let a car over, but I wasn't back far enough. So then I got you're following too close notice. And Janet looks at me and she goes, what's that? And I was like, that's the camera. And she's like, there's a camera in here? And I'm like, yep.
She puts her clothes back on.
Well, the honesty of my wife, she says, how come it didn't pick up? I don't have my seatbelt on.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, I don't know. I have mine on. Why don't you have yours on? And again, we're
Right.
back to the older vehicle. There's
And
there's no dinging.
Yeah,
There's no
tell you,
chiming.
yeah.
It's
but
not
there's
like,
the camera making you better because you noticed that. And
Exactly,
I
Jim.
bet she put her seatbelt on, didn't
Of
she?
course.
Yep.
Yes. So
Yep.
I mean, here's I guess that everything we've talked about on the podcast is for safety, right? Those instances made me better. They make you better. They do everything we preach about, and I'll say we weren't reactive, but in that situation, I was reactive because the camera was proactive.
Just so you know, Casey's working on a PIP for you.
Yeah. JR is going to send you a meme here in just a second. You watch.
Oh, I'm
improvement
surprised I didn't get the meme.
Performance improvement.
I mean, like
performance.
the minute I heard that
It was
voice,
more. It's more personal.
Yeah.
the first thing that went through my head is like, oh God, I can't wait for the banishing on this one, man. Oh. It's
But-
good to have people out there that care, though.
Yeah. No doubt.
So I guess I don't know how that is my final thoughts, but my explanation of how that made me better, I hope everyone here appreciates that system and they appreciate what may sound like us complaining can help you be better.
That's what the podcast for.
We have a lot of knowledge that we can share. We have a lot of instances that have happened. We've had a lot of things that we've seen. We're not going to sit here and say we've seen it all, done it all, because we haven't. But I guarantee you the men in this room were in the arena with you, and we're here to give you guidance and help and support. So there's my final thoughts.
Love it. You kept saying, I keep hearing what if, but what if it was when if this happens?
Yeah.
That's a saying, right? Not if, but when, right?
Yeah.
Soup, you have any more closing arguments?
No,
Final thoughts?
I'm good to go. Just, cherish those children. They do grow up fast, and I know because I got a 42-year-old and a 35 years old.
How did that happen, Dave?
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Crazy.
Wow.
Well, my final thoughts isn't really final thoughts as much as an announcement. I will not be here next week, so if you try to get a hold of me if you try to get a hold of me and I don't answer, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I will not have cell service.
You don't care.
Oh, that's your story. You won't have cell service.
Yes.
That's been Mike's story, and you're just going with him. That's all.
Hey, man, there was a signed agreement to go on this hunting trip.
We're going to see like 72 Facebook posts. It's like, I didn't think you had cell service.
Well, you could get, my understanding is you could get cell service, but you either got to drive or climb a mountain.
Right
to get
at
it.
the ranch, or
Yeah,
back
so-
at the ranch. Yeah.
Yep, finally getting out there. I know, I like it. Finally getting out there for second season, and I'll see you guys when I get back. We are going to replay Sergeant Greniger's podcast next week. If you guys are new and haven't heard it yet, it's definitely worth listening to. And I guess other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Hit that follow button. Also, don't forget to go back and listen to episode 72 and help find Amber's mom. Links to her story will be in the description of today's podcast as well. And I will also throw a link up for Chad Porter's book, Seven Dreams.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, good luck to you and Mike, Jam. And
Thank you.
And then also just along with that announcement, if Jam's not here, you got JR, Casey, Kendrick,
Yes.
Scooby, one of us.
Yes.
Just call one of those guys.
Yep, JR is going to be handling the PTO program. So if you need a day off or you can't figure something out, he's your guy.
Yep. There's
Nice.
lots of backup here.
Yep.
Nice.
Ask for help.
Shout out in advance to the team for covering for me.
And,
So.
and you have 2 bull and 2 doe tags? Is that
Cows.
cow?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I just eat shit.
Yeah, I
Is
got
it one or the other, or you can fill both? You can get a bull and a cow? Okay,
and
good.
Mikey's got the same. And
So
it's,
4 animals total.
God willing,
If you're
You know,
lucky.
To me, well, if God wants it for me, yeah.
Luck
to
has
me,
nothing to
it's
do with it, Dave.
yeah.
Now with all the equipment he's got, I'll tell you what,
Well, I'll say this,
Amazon has a lot to do with it.
yeah, he could shoot one at 1,000 yards.
I can't, but I will say if I see an elk in my scope, there's a pretty good chance I'll be bringing it home. All right, let's say the creed and get on out of here.
All right.
Sounds
Ready
great.
to go.
Together
we face and overcome
all that stands before us.
Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. And together we are the JFW family.
Woo, thanks, everybody. Have a great 2 weeks.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, because we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Here there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.